Hello, everybody. We are back with Smite Prime September Circuit as we are live on Smite Prime and Smite Game. And if you don't already know me, hello, my name's Morty. We've got the whole Smite Prime crew here today. We've got General Jithens and Test Dive behind the scenes. And right next to me is a brand new addition to the Smite Prime crew. Hello, Spirited Book.
Hey, Mort. How's it going?
Good, man. Feeling good. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. Excited to be here. This is a first for me. You guys have paid attention to some of the Sewer Rat games and whatnot. You'll have seen me cast there once or twice, but this will be my first Smite Prime cast, and really just a pleasure to be here.
So let's talk about where we're at, the September Circuit, and what's on the line for this month. A lot of big prizes on the line here. $7,000 in cash prizing and up to 125,000 diamonds. That is a whole lot of skins.
Yeah, this is a lot of skin potential, especially with that new Artemis skin coming out here pretty soon. I mean, that is definitely what I'm personally saving up for with my next paycheck. That one is looking pretty good, especially with all the pretty recolors. There's a couple of new skins coming out that I'm just really excited for. And so, yeah, the cash prizing and the diamond prizing, definitely going to go in that direction.
Man, and that's not our only prize for today. We've got something brand new coming at y'all. It's bingo. That's right. Smite Prime is doing bingo now. And you can head on to the Smite Prime website, the tournament page, log in with your Discord, and you get your own personalized bingo board. And you check things off as you see things happen on screen, and the winner gets a prize.
Yeah, and this will be our new the skins for the prizing for today: the Infinite Duality Agni and the Overseer Cerberus. Personally, big fan of the Agni and the recolors with this one. Love the pretty oranges and the vibrant purples. I'm a big fan of this skin, especially as a new mid main as of late. And so these are some skins you definitely want to acquire. So check out those bingos. Keep track of them as we go throughout the day, and see if you can come out on top of that bingo.
Dude, look at the fire breath on Sir, but that's not the only thing that's fire today. We've got some fire brackets coming at y'all as well. Some crazy teams playing for this week, the last chance to qualify for the final week of this circuit. There's some big teams on the line here. Who stands out to you, Book?
I mean, Clockton has to be the one that stands out to me most. I mean, the Paul team just continuing to dominate Smite Primes week after week. Definitely one to keep an eye out for. Strength of Wood as well, I feel like has been a team on the way up. I mean, you look at players like Snatty swapping over to the support role, who's been playing pretty consistently well, all things considered, considering he just moved from solo lane to support. So definitely some of those rosters to keep an eye out for. Also, Joe Biden Esports back in the lineup for this week.
Yeah, definitely some hot players on there. And Donzi, they get to skip around because they've been doing so well. And yeah, there's just so many teams to look at here. It's been a blast so far for this circuit, and I can't wait to see how things unfold to get us into the final week.
Yeah, it should be exciting, and especially because, there are some roster changes here and there. Sot, Solar Troll joining up with Adapting this week on the 800 GPM team. That, I think, is a very prominent change that the team will just benefit highly from. And so just small changes these teams are making throughout the weeks to try and go for all the way into that closed bracket week to just go for that prizing, as we are set here for our game number 1 prizing. And speaking of 800 GPM, we're going to see them play this as our first matchup of the day.
800 GPM versus Green Eggs and Ham. Man, there are some pretty, these might not be the top Smite Prime stars. Who might not see Cherry or Inbound here, but these are still some players that you do not want to sleep on. Like you mentioned, Solo Troll, Adapting, Deduin, definitely somebody I recognize. On the other side as well as Pershing, Des, and Moods. I mean, you got to know these guys.
Yeah, these are the ones that you kind of see in your top amateur divisions for the amateur leagues like OSL, AGL. So excited to see them play, as we already see some bands flying out here. Merlin off the table, no real surprise there, just a top mid laner in the game right now. Yamoja, the response from Green Eggs and Ham, another just top support. A lot of gods we'll see off the table here early on are just gods neither team really wants to see because of how strong these characters are in the meta right now.
I like how you mentioned the amateur spot as well, because a lot of these top players don't feel the need to really hit these amateur leagues because they've been playing for so long. But when you have
Right.
these guys that are also participating in like AGL, OSL, they're getting these extra reps in, they're getting that practice in that lets them be ready for what's happening right here, right now in front of us. Hu Yi is going to be the first pick for 800 GPM, and that's a power pick for sure.
Yeah, no real surprise there. Hui, arguably the best ADC in the meta right now, and can flex to 3 roles. I'd argue 2, but 3 roles apparently, according to some people, as we'll sometimes see Hui in the jungle as well. So just a strong start for 800 GPM, especially because last week we saw Adapting whipping out the Apollo jungle, and I believe the Jingwei jungle as well. So this could arguably just be Adapting's pick as well. It's just a strong early flex potential for 800 GPM on right away. A response of Bologna. If you're going to go 2 or 3 auto attackers, we're going to respond immediately with Bologna, because that's just going to deny that option.
That's a huge pickup right there, Bologna, who, like you, I mean, you said it perfectly that she's able to deny those basic attack focused gods like Hu Yi or the Apollo, the Jingwei that might be coming out for Adapting. Bologna is a great counter pick to that. And then Sobek's going to join the fray as well. I really love Sobek as a support right now. He's got that awesome pick potential. If you catch somebody out, we're going to isolate them and we're going to completely kill them just immediately. And that's the kind of power that Sobek has. And depending on how you position things, it might put you out of position here. But if you're careful with how you hit those plucks and when to use them, the right pluck can change the game entirely. Hercules and Hecate are going to be joining the team of 800 GPM, which means to me that they've probably got their solo with Herc, super tanky, a lot of damage, and Hecate, who's got a lot of setup potential.
Yeah, I mean, you were just talking about, the displacement potential that Beck brings, but what does Hecate and Hercules do best? Displacement potential as well. So 800 GPM just matching that right back. Hecate very strong right now, and I was kind of talking with some friends this past week about why is Hecate so strong. The passive arguably is a big part of it. Just granting int and strength to those hybrid scalers like the Hui Yi. Just as the game goes on, that starts to add up. It's arguably just a full item at that point as the game goes on. So Hecate, a strong pickup here for 800 GPM. Green Eggs and Hams, they respond with a Kukulkan and an Agni. Agni likely going to go into the ADC role, while Kukulkan going to likely sit in the mid lane.
And we've seen a lot of Agni carry due to the aspect of combustion. What is that all about? What do you think that brings to the table?
So obviously it allows him to be played in the carry role. It just means he's going to synergize more with the auto attack strength builds. The passive scales off the strength in general. It used to be scaled a lot better with crit, but as that was nerfed, now we see him going for more of the yellow numbers build. And I say Agni ADC very loosely because we've seen some Kukulkan ADC here and there. It could be a potential flex. Agni could go to mid lane, but more than likely it should be Agni ADC with the aspect like you mentioned, and then Kukulkan mid going for a full int build. Bots and Ymir is the response from 800 GPM. Again, more displacement with the Hun bots, and then a Ymir for the lockdown. And I am really excited to see this final pick if they decide to lock it in on the side of Green Eggs and Ham.
Now, what I'm kind of seeing here, and correct me if I'm wrong, that 800 GPM has this team fight focus comp, right? We're looking to get to that fire giant phase where we do nothing but brawl over these big objectives in the late game and really just dominate these team fights. But on the other side of things, Green Eggs and Ham, they have a more skirmish focus comp, right? They're looking to isolate 1 or 2 bodies and pick them apart and then go for the rest of the plate. But they're not really focused on these huge engagements rather than, okay, we'll start dominating parts of the early game. Even though Kukulkan isn't really focused on early game, he's somebody who can take advantage of someone who's out of position, right? Zone them out with the Whirlwind and then hit him with everything else. The Zephyr of the Spirit of the Nine Winds. And then you've got people who, like Sobek, who can lock down these bodies and make it easier for the back line to take care of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the back setup is going to be great for the side of Green Eggs and Ham. And like you mentioned, they do want to scrap early. This is a team that can get active early. The Kukulkan does want to sit a little bit, get ideally 2 items. Book of Thoth, Polynomicon is when this character starts to come online. But immediately after that, you can get active right away. You can look for Gold Furies. You can look for picks. You mentioned it. The Sobek pluck is tried and true setup potential for this backline follow-up of Kukulkan and Agni. Tsukiyomi as well can poke from a distance. Bologna can zone. across the way, 800 GPM, they want to kind of slow down a little bit.
All right, everybody, we are ready for our first game of the day between 800 GPM and Green Eggs and Ham. If you're just now joining us, this is Morty and Book on the cast, along with Test Die and Jithens, bringing the action to you live. And man, this is going to be a good game.
Yeah, this should be a good one. I'm excited to see if Green Eggs and Ham can really bring it to the likes of the SOT and the Adaptings of the world. You know, can this amateur level team kind of step up a little bit and, you know, really compete against these top level players who have been around for a hot second? And Adapting going for the aspect on the Humbots, I'm kind of not a little bit surprised. You know, the aspect on Humbots is what really stands out to me, and there's a lot of hot debate around it. When do you go aspect? When do you not go aspect? With how much CC the team already has on the side of 800 GPM, I would have liked to have seen Adapting not go for the aspect. Go for a little bit more damage. You already have Hecate set up. You have the Hercules set up. Though, hold everything. Snodstar. Aspect of the mark. Hui's basic attacks are going to ricochet. So no stun off of the mark into the one. And instead, he's just going to be bouncing off towers. He's going to be bouncing off walls with all his auto attacks. This is going to give him great pressure in the lane.
That is very, very nice. I mean, you'll see it like you just said in the laning phase, where you're able to just hit from so far away. And once you know how to utilize the geography of the duo lane, that aspect of the mark becomes so crucial. One thing that stands out to me here, though, the team comp for the side of Green Eggs and Ham, I love what they have focused around objectives, because not only do they have objective burn with the Whirlwind and the Agni carry, but also you've got objective secure with Spirit of the Nine Winds.
Yeah, for sure. Objective secure, as well as just poke. I mean, we kind of mentioned it. You know, the Dest on the Kukulkan is going to have good poke with the Zephyr. Vampora as well on the Tsukiyomi, just poke from a distance. Pershing with the 3 as well, the Scourge, will just poke from a distance. They have zone potential with damage rather than CC like we often see. So, yeah, and then on top of the secure, so you can just zone members away on the side of 800 GPM, not allow them to step up. And then go for the secure with the Kukulkan ultimate as well, the Spirit of the Nine Winds. But this should be a slow game on the side of Green Eggs and Ham until they start to hit around the 2 item spike marks. Watch for Drunk Diplomat's 2 items. Watch for Des to have that Book of Thoth into the Polynomicon 2nd item, as Vampora will pay a bit of attention to this right-hand side. I don't think we'll see any early ganks, though. Both teams probably just want to play it slow in the early game.
So you mentioned it's going to be a slow early game, and I mean, as you said, 2 minutes in, no first blood just yet. But where do you think our first blood potential lies? Where is our first body going to fall?
I mean, that's a good question. We might actually see it here in mid, though.
Great stun on to Duo and looking to lock down this Hecate early. Aegis is forced out, but no kill found. But around the corner is Hunbats. But he's a little late to the party. He's trying to find a higher advantage point so we can jump in and take advantage here. But looks like he's just going to be a tad too late to the party. Adapting, he's going to go and find some farm on the other side.
This is a smart play from Adapting, just going to take away Vampora's farm. Now he's level 4. I'm not sure if Vampora can really fight out this Humbots. And this is what Adapting wants to do. He wants to race out the other jungler to level 5, get that ultimate online as soon as possible. But look at this. Adapting could be in a bit of trouble here. The rotation's coming through from the duo lane.
Both duo lanes collapsing onto Adapting. Great double stun. The Frost Breath from Vibes might have saved his life, followed by the Ice Wall. And by himself is Drunk Diplomat, who just surely can't do the damage just yet. We're still way too early for Agni to be hitting like that.
Yeah, a great rotation from Vibes. And that ultimately comes down to just the duo pressure here. Snodstar, with this Ricochet aspect, you know, has good pressure in this lane on the Hou Yi. You know, Hou Yi not the highest pressure ADC in the game without the aspect, but with the aspect, that Ricochet is going to bounce off of the minions in the wave. So the pressure just becomes a little bit better. This allows Vives to rotate out and hold that thought. Hold everything. SOT could be in trouble here to a solo kill.
In trouble indeed. He's looking to get to the safety of that middle tower, but he's going to creep around the corner instead. That driving strike just saved his life as he almost got caught by the Bologna slow, but he was barely able to make it to safety. A bit of action happening here in the duo lane as well. Ice Wall followed by Frost Breath does lock down Sobek for a minute, but no damage followed from Snodstar, so they're going to back things up, and it looks like they were trying to secure that purple, but they couldn't get onto it. Yeah.
I think Drunk does have the purple buff around his waist. They were looking for an attempt, and it's a nice look. We saw Vampora hovering on the right-hand side, looking to bail out Pershing if the attempted solo kill went awry, and the rest of the members of 800 GPM were there to bail out their soul laner. Sot does end up living, and so first blood still on the table for both teams, but that is a nice look from Green Eggs and Ham. Pershing already off to a great start in this right-hand side, being aggressive on this Bellona. And then ultimately Vampora there to bail out the soul laner who's trying to be aggressive. So just great support from the team, from the jungler, as Koja Fox finds the pluck onto the Hui Yi.
Ice Wall does save his life, though. Amazing Ice Wall in response. But around the corners, Vampora looking to collapse on Snotstar. Nothing. Oh. No. Yeah, there's the jump. No peel from Vibes, though. He dumped his kit already, so just relying on that jump, which did provide him safety.
Yeah, Snotstar holding on to that for a long time. I thought it might have been down because of how long he was holding on to it. As I think that was a Spirit of the Nine wins there just to secure those oracles there. And that ultimate being down. I mean, this is what I think the likes of Green Eggs and Ham, they need to do. Use those ultimates to just secure a couple of camps. Get to 5, get to first and second item as soon as possible, and then look for plays. Though right-hand side, Sot could be getting looked at here by Pershing, getting a little bit low, but ultimately just soul laners slap fighting each other. Nothing really new there.
5 minutes in, folks, and no kills found just yet. 5.5 to be exact. And a lot of aggression throughout the map, but no kills found. A lot of safe picks with jumps and heals and dashes and everything else. Nobody has been able to lock somebody down, right?
No, not yet. And, ultimately it comes down to, I think 800 GPM should have the better lockdown composition come mid-game. You got the ease of access freezes. Vives looking for that stun, but can't find it onto Dest.
He's going to force out the Shards of Ice, trying to do some damage to his opponents, because around the corner is Duduin, who's watching and looking to help out their friend, but couldn't quite find any damage. Instead found an escape through Open the Gates for Vives to use, and 3 bodies from each side in the middle lane, just kind of staring at each other aggressively.
I mean, that was a good look from both sides. The attempted first blood, we'll probably see it a couple more times before first blood actually comes through, though. You saw there, the damage checks are coming through. Dest starting to get good damage onto the front line now that this Book of Thoth is online and is stacking up. Koja Fox, we haven't really talked about it, has the execute on the Sobek as well. So getting these health bars low on the side of 800 GPM, and that's what Kakoko does best, as Pershing could be a bit of trouble here to Sot, has to ult away defensively.
The boulder used from Sot, followed by the Eagles rally from Pershing with 100 health to their name, barely escapes as some action unfolds here in duo. Ice Wall forced out from Vives, and stampeding forward. Green Eggs and Ham looking to collapse on Vives. Not able to find the pluck, though. A good stun as Vives is down to half health around this Gold Fury pit, and looks like both teams are going to back off from here.
Vives going for the first item mushroom there, just going to allow themselves to stay a little alive a little bit longer here in these fights, giving themselves a bit of healing, a bit of protections here, as Vives hanging around here, looking to try and steal this Naga, but I don't think they're going to be able to look for it just yet, as we see a right-hand grouping here from 800 GPM. Adapting, hovering the... Koja.
Come on. What? First Blood is going to go to the Queen Naga? What?
That's actually really bad. Look at this. 800 GPM actually taking the opportunity. They're going to invade the red buff on the right-hand side of the Green Eggs and Ham, and they're going to get this entire right side jungle as well. That death from Koja... It's not first blood, so it doesn't give 800 GPM a lead in terms of gold for the kill, but it gives them a small lead in terms of the map pressure. They've invaded red, they've taken the right side elementals. Snotstar, though, could be in trouble, has to leap into the air, trying to get away, though.
It looks like Snotstar is going to be A-okay. For those of you who had player dies to jungle camp on your bingo card, that has been checked off in our first game. I really didn't think we were going to get out of this one. This is Smite Prime here. I didn't think this is going to happen, but you know what? We see crazy things every day, and I've seen crazier, but yeah, knock that one off your board. Pluck comes out from Koja. Looking to lock down to Duin. Shards of Ice force out, looking to do good damage onto Koja, and it does. Ice Ball in response. Open the Gates does not connect, though. Lurking in the waters is going to grant that crowd control immunity, so no kill found here as Adapting is around the corner.
Koja playing like a bit of a silly goose there, just, gets baited by Dudu and says, hey, look at me, come pluck me, come pluck me. Vives just sitting around the corner saying, yeah, go pluck my mid laner, I'll freeze you after. a nice setup there from 800 GPM to try and secure themselves the true first blood of the game, because let's be real, that last one doesn't really count. Koja Fox, though, actually, no, Deduin could be in trouble here. They're on the hunt here for green eggs and ham, but they'll just shove out the Hecate back into their jungle. Vampora still looking for more, though, not might get baited.
Ice Ball is going to lock down Vampora, followed by the Whirlwind, trying to do some damage in response, but couldn't quite help out. Hecate finds first blood. Vives in trouble as well, down to a couple hundred health, does get Sunder. Driving strike around the corner from Sot, going to force the ult out as well. Eagles rally, looking to dive on the back line. Sot finds Koja, that's one body down, two bodies to be exact, and look at Pershing, who's trying to fight back with everything they have, but the driving strike locks him down in quick time. Deduin kills him. That's 3 bodies for 800 GPM. Green Eggs and Ham have lost that fight.
Vives just saying, yeah, I'm the Deduin now. Come look at me. Come pluck me. Come kill me. The support just buys eons of time there, and Solar Troll getting a ton of stacks off these fire elementals. Now at 45 on the Devos. Just already 800 GPM. They get the first blood. They get 2 kills after, and they're using the kills to get themselves map pressure. A blue buff invade. For securing the next round of the elementals here on the right-hand side. Green Eggs and Ham, they haven't really shown that they can respond to this pressure on map just yet, as Deduin might get caught out here. Has Aegis in hand, but no, is going to take a spill. Green Eggs and Ham on the board 10 minutes in.
That is a shame. Oh, well, it is what it is. Koja did catch him out, and that's all right. That's a-okay. Sometimes, you just get caught lacking. A little bit of vision lack is what I'm assuming, as Vives and Adapting fight for this camp, and Koja is around the corner, maybe looking to ward up and get ready for a potential Gold Fury.
Yeah, Koja's going to ward up around that Gold Fury, especially because 800 GPM, we kind of mentioned it, they have the lead. Yeah, the Deduin's dead for a bit, but Pershing going to get plucked into the tower. Should be okay. And Vampora's here on the right-hand side. They could look to kill Sot, but Sot might turn it around.
Sot is getting locked down by the Eagles rally, and Driving Strike in response, trying to lock down Vampora, but couldn't quite make it happen. Fear No Evil in response, so Adapting's able to find a double from around the corner. Reinforcements have arrived, and it works out for 800 GPM. They do lose Sot, but they found 2 bodies in response. Adapting taking care of things in solo.
Green Eggs and Ham, they had to commit everything to kill Sot, and that allowed Adapting to show up late to the party and just drop all of their cooldowns, and it was just, easy for the jungler who's a 2-time world champion and, been around the block a couple times. So he's seen those plays go right just too many times, and now he's going to look to pressure out this red buff onto Dest, as Vives also on the way here, but no, the call is made back. Oh, no, he steals it. He's got it. He's chilling.
Yeah, he's able to walk away with that one. Adapting's been so good at invading into the enemy jungle and just walking out unscathed. He's 2-0-3 right now. A lot of gold to his name, and he's been on fire right now.
Yeah, and, building towards the early CDR, people don't talk about it too much, but Humbots is kind of hard to lock down a fair bit of the time. He's got the jump. He's got the monkey toss to teleport on away to an enemy or a minion if he, throws it out there. So the bots is just one.
Looks like a potential pull on Gold Fury as Green Eggs and Ham surround that gold. Is sitting at about half health. Open the gates. They're going to land a portal in. And Spirit of the Nine wins, locks it down. That's going to be the first Gold Fury of the game going to Green Eggs and Ham. But a fight unfolds from there. Vives chasing down the leftovers of Green Eggs and Ham. That Wind Sprite is going to make sure that Koja Fox is out alive. And Tsukiyomi very low on health. And Pora almost did get caught, but he's a-okay. No losses there. Green Eggs and Ham walk out alive, and 800 GPM just couldn't quite get there in time.
A great peel from Dest to slow down the aggression from the members of 800 GPM, just healing out for the jungler who was just no HP. That was a great look from 800 GPM. They are going to trade out here with this Pyromancer. Koja Fox doesn't have that Sunder. They used it for Secure, but Green Eggs and Ham, they do want to try and contest this objective.
Looking to pull Pyro. Fiora No Evil's forced out. Koja does get locked down as Sot does find Pershing in the backline. Tsukiyomi's ult out. Who is he going to go for? Shards of Ice does good damage to Vampora, but Vives is in absolute trouble here. The Zephyr does massive damage, and Vives is taken down in quick time. Dest doing huge damage right there, and 800 GPM forced to drop that Pyro. Green Eggs and Ham pick up a couple kills for themselves as Diplomat takes down Snotstar on the left side. Great invade from Drunk.
A solo kill on the right-hand side, a solo kill on the left-hand side. Sot killing off Purging, but Drunk Diplomat saying, yeah, I'll do one better. I'll solo kill Snotstar on the left-hand side. Green Eggs and Ham, you know, we kind of talked about this is the amateur team, but they're being competitive so far. The gold, they're actually in the lead just a little bit as Pyromancer wasn't secured, so it will be picked up again now that Vampora's on the left-hand side, but Spear of the Nine Winds off the mark. Now this should go the way of 800 GPM.
Fight unfolds from here, though. Adapting, trying to lock down Koja, but the rest of 800 GPM just ain't feeling it. I don't blame him. I mean, they just dumped everything onto that Pyro, so no abilities online, no way to kill Koja from there. So the rest of 800 GPM walk away and make their way towards these fire brands. Sot forced to use the boulder. The Excavates try and lock down Purging. Ice Wall does a great job of locking him down. Frost Breath in response, and Sot is on the case. But the Eagles rally is forced out. Purging uses to get to the safety of the Tier 1 tower. And no kill found in solo, but the invade on the other side. Koja Plucks adapting. Adapting is in big trouble. Somersaults over to the safety of the Tier 1 tower in the mid lane, which means a Snodstar is left for pickings yet again. The Sunbreaker's out, but it does not save his life. His Joint Diplomat finds another kill, and Snodstar's not looking good by his lonely.
Green Eggs and Ham have just played the map better so far, where they've, you know, positioned their key members. You know, Vampora hanging out on the left-hand side consistently, waiting for Snodstar to step up. Purging, looking to defend against the Elementals, forces a rotation out of Eves as the fight still isn't done. Des could be in trouble here.
Oh, that's an amazing open the gates and the Ice Wall combo. Veeves into doing locking it in together. Walrent doing a great job of zoning, but Adapting's around the corner. Somersaults in, and the overhead smash does massive damage. Fear No Evil forces the beats from Suki, and Vampora is in trouble. Great Ice Wall locks down Vampora. Veeves is going to take advantage of him. Adapting finds the kill. That's a double for 800 GPM, and Koja all by his lonely in the middle lane.
Rotation coming through here. Purging on the way, trying to defend against this red buff invade, but not going to be able to do it just yet. So going to back off to safety, and so will Adapting and Veeves. While Green Eggs and Ham have played the map better in terms of their positioning and where they've put their members, 800 GPM, they've just been playing the fights better. You know, Adapting kind of going in as that secondary. Veeves and Deduin working so well together, and look at this, 24 stacks of int and strength going the way of Sot here on the right hand side. Just so many elementals prioritized versus just the 4 of Purging. And one thing that is the reason that these elementals have been prioritized for Solar Troll, all those elementals, they count as little, you know, jungle bosses. So that Devourer Gauntlet that Solar Troll has, it gets stacked just so much quicker than, say, being built in dual lane or being built on any other character, really. That is why the priority has gone, you know, to Adapting, to Solar Troll, to get these Devour Gauntlet last hits on those camps in particular.
That is huge. I didn't even think about that. I was wondering this whole time, why are we going Devos on Herc? And that makes exact sense why, because he's put so much focus on those firebrands. His Adapting walks over to solo. Fear No Evil's out. Purging is in trouble. No Eagles rally for him to use to get away. Sot's going to land the knockup, and Adapting going to take care of the rest. The boulder's out, and Purging is dead. But the fight is still unfolding this side on the other side of the map. Great pluck from Koja is going to lock down Veeves. The Whirlwind is in response. Open the gates, does connect and find one, but Des takes down Veeves. That's one body down on each side. Snodstar finds Vampora. Great ricochet there to take him down. And couple kills across the board so far. The Gold Fury hasn't been prioritized just yet, but the Oracles are dropped. The vision is there, and 800 GPM do feel confident. Driving strike from around that corner. Looks like Adapting and Sot are there from solo. They teleported over, which means 4 bodies here from 800 GPM on this Gold Fury. Green Eggs and Ham don't have the resources to try and contest it. 800 GPM is going to grab this for free unless Koja walks up, tries to Sunder. Maybe Sunder this away. He's got it online, but he's going to walk away. He realizes he cannot take that down. 800 GPM grab their first Gold Fury of the game.
A great play from 800 GPM. They respond beautifully despite the play. You know, they get the kill on the right-hand side, but they have to then rotate on over. So they do a brilliant job of just, you know, holding out around the Gold Fury until Adapting and Solar Troll can show up around the objective. As we see another play here from Veeves, looking for another kill onto Koja Fox, who has to dash away. That's though looking for a solo kill.
Also getting taken advantage of. The Zephyr does massive damage. Deduin is surely in trouble. Waiting for the portal for the open the gates. It's going to get him to safety. Vibes have shards of ice online as well. That does find Des, and we're not done there. Koja is going to fall as well. Snodstar finds a kill over in duo as well. 3 bodies down on the side of Green Eggs and Ham, and 800 GPM is coming online.
Deduin just, juking around the minions for as long as he can. Finally gets that ultimate off, can use the teleport to get away to safety. The help of that Aegis as well, that Relic, just doing so much work. We see it being bought a lot more as of late, and that's exactly why. It can just buy time for the rest of the team to make an impact in that fight. And Deduin lives at 800 GPM. They'll continue to build their gold lead, and they'll take this Pyromancer as well.
They're burning it down in quick time. Pershing is around the corner. I don't know if they have Eagles Rally to jump in on this, though. 4,000 health on that Pyromancer. Adapting is going to walk straight over and force Pershing to use that Wind Sprite to get away. He surely doesn't want to risk his life for just a Pyromancer. Koja just a tad too late to the Pyromancer pit, not able to sunder that one away. And 800 GPM just getting so much out of that exchange. Look at where we're at here, folks. 20 minutes into this game and a 4K gold lead for 800 GPM, as well as almost double the kills, more than double the kills and Green Eggs and Ham have on the scoreboard. This is a huge place to be for 800 GPM. But if you're in their shoes here, Book, how do you continue this snowball? How do you make yourself felt in this game? Maybe Drunk Diplomat looks to take down Sot. 3 bodies on top of Sot, and he does get melted down in quick time like hot butter on a stovetop. Sot is dead, and Green Eggs and Ham find a pick.
Yeah, the answer to the question you asked me is by not letting the Sot get picked in moments like that, because now you can see Green Eggs and Ham, they're sending members back to the base because Drunk was low, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Green Eggs and Ham just group immediately back on this right-hand side and look to pull this Fire Giant. We're 20 minutes in. Important items online here. Dest has 3 items. It's a Book, Polynomicon, Rada Tahuti, all online here for the mid laner. So he's going to be doing good damage. Drunk Diplomat has the Titan's Bane, the Oboe, so that's good damage. Across the way, also members of 800 GPM have important items, sure, but Green Eggs and Ham, they're just in a good spot for some of their characters. 800 GPM, some of their members kind of want to scale up a little bit better. Hui, strong in the late game. Hakate, really, really, really good in the late game. So, they still are in a good spot, 800 GPM, but they want to keep scaling just a little bit more, which means they're here to defend this Gold Fury, but I don't know. They're just grouping a little better. Sot's on the right-hand side, Green Eggs and Ham. You could see Pershing kind of hovering around the mid lane. I think there's a world Green Eggs and Ham, they should have maybe looked for the Fire Giant. It was a 4v5. Maybe just look for a pluck in onto anyone, but instead they'll take their time. They're going to look to contest this next Gold Fury and continue to try and build a way back into the game. They're only down 2,000 gold, as it could be a little bit more as Koja gets picked here.
Frost Breath followed by the Ice Wall locks down Koja, forces the Charge Prey to get Koja to safety. Meanwhile, Sot and Pershing are fighting on the right side. The Boulder's out, so is the Eagles Rally, and Pershing trying to escape the Sot, but can he do so? Driving Shark takes Sot forward. He's within melee range, looking for the knockup. He's able to find it. Pershing is in trouble. The Shield Bash forest. Pershing's trying to fight his way out of this one, but there's no fighting against Sot and adapting the hard hitters of 800 GPM. The fight's going to continue to unfold here on the right side of the jungle. Vibes looking for an Ice Wall. Can he find it? Fear No Evil was going to lock a couple bodies down on the side of Green Eggs and Ham. Sot's going to find a kill. That's a double. Spirit of the Nine Winds in response doesn't connect with anyone on 800 GPM, and they're just finding bodies to pick at and taking advantage of them.
We think of Ymir as having the wall here, but Hui also has a wall there on the ultimate, just locking in Dest into the Fear No Evil despite using the beads, and so Dest just takes a spill there after Pershing takes a spill on the right-hand side. Adapting, gonna back to base on the left-hand side to defend against Drunk, who's there, but the Fire Giant's getting lower and lower.
Oh, Fire Giant is burned, and Vibes is able to secure it. Koja Fox is on the retreat. He poked his head around the corner, and he got caught by 800 GPM. Another dead body on the floor as Green Eggs and Ham can't seem to find their footing in this game. The Pyromancer does get burned down as well, and the Fire Giant dagger in the hands of Vives. There is a lot to love about the position that 800 GPM are in, but Green Eggs and Ham aren't giving up just yet.
No, you can see Drunk Diplomat was able to take down that Phoenix on the left-hand side, so that is minion pressure going their way. That is something for the side of Green Eggs and Ham. And do want to give credit to Drunk Diplomat, who's level 20, has farmed really well on this left-hand side. They are going to be the saving grace of Green Eggs and Ham if they come back in this game and look for an avenue in. It will be off the back of this Agni ADC.
Mm-hmm. That is no. I 100% agree with you. He's got the poke damage from the meteors. He's got the huge basic attack damage. Whether it comes to burst or straight consistent DPS, Jordan Diplomat has both with this Agni pick, so he's going to be able to do a lot in these team fights. And deaths, regardless of where we're at as far as kill ratio and everything else, he might not look great at 3-3, but he's surely got the damage online. Look at the left side where the only one out damaging deaths is Sot right now, which, I mean, look at that, 101 Devo stacks. That's no surprise there, but right on his tail is deaths doing a lot of damage right now in the mid game.
Yeah, the Kukulkan, I mean, we mentioned it, the 2-item spike, and then they can start to do damage, but decides to just go all in on the int, has that Rod of 2D third item, and then the Cosmic Horror actually goes for just the pen option in the pen, shard from Obshard, doesn't complete the item, and then goes straight into Cosmic Horror. And part of this build with Kukulkan is you kind of lack a lot of cooldown because you need Book of Thoth into Polynomicon as 800 GPM. They're grouping this left-hand side, Green Eggs in hand. They're looking for a play in the mid on adapting in the tier 1 tower.
Oh no, adapting is in trouble. Somersaults out, but Diplomat around the corner does land a couple good basics. The shield bash from Pershing is going to lock him down. Meanwhile, knocking on the the Phoenix's door on the left side is Huyi and Nikatse. It looks like 800 GPM looking to find their first Phoenix of the game, but can't quite find it just yet. The reinforcements from Green Eggs and Ham push them off the case.
I mean, again, it comes down to Green Eggs and Ham are just playing the map better. They force a play in mid. They have Vampora just solo defending on that left-hand side. Sure, 800 GPM. They took down a tier 2 tower, and Deduin actually could get picked as well here because look at this, Purging Death. They're on the hunt for the Hekate.
Deduin's in trouble, and the Lerny Bow is going to do massive damage. Deduin is in trouble. Around the corner is Vampora, who takes him down in quick time. Snotstar finds Jordan Diplomat in the process, left by himself. Vampora teleports forward. The Tsukiyomi ult goes crazy here. Pershing takes down Snotstar. 3 bodies dead on the side of 800 GPM, and Green Eggs and Ham need to find something on this map fast.
Pyromancer are going to be spawning here in a few seconds. Expect them to look in that general direction as 2 members dead on 800 GPM for, another 30 seconds for Deduin, 44 Snodstar. But still, I like this. Green Eggs and Ham, they're just playing the map better. 800 GPM, they're playing the fights better. When it's a full 5-on-5, every time 800 GPM have not had the either man advantage or, even footing, they've really struggled this game. If Green Eggs and Ham can continue to exploit that, maybe send a member on the left-hand side and continue to force a 4v4 maybe on the right-hand side around fire, there's a world that, Green Eggs and Ham, they can come back in the terms of the gold lead and maybe just outright win this game. Purging going to secure that Pyromancer as Vieves and Sot, they're looking for poke on the Koja.
But can't quite fight anything here. That Pyromancer going towards Green Eggs and Ham was a huge step in the right direction to getting them back in this game. We're at 26.5 minutes, almost at 27. There's a 4K gold lead for the side of 800 GPM, 2 Gold Furies for them, and 1 for Green Eggs and Ham. And the kill count isn't huge offset in one direction or the other. 7 isn't a humongous number compared to what we've seen in the past here on Smite Prime. So it's nothing to, really acknowledge too heavily, but it is there. 800 GPM in control to a certain extent, but Green Eggs and Ham waltzing their way back into this game slowly but surely.
Yeah, and left-hand side, Phoenix has respawned here as Sot could get picked here. It's only Koja and Pershing, though, and I'm actually surprised these two are looking for a play because Pershing doesn't really have a lot of defense. Is immediately going to fall down here to the boulder from Sot.
Yeah, that boulder is going to take him down in quick time. The great boulder from Sot does massive damage. Ice Wall looking for a lockdown. Frost Breath definitely helps with that. And going through, lurking in the waters, forced out Charge Prey in response. And the Spirit of the Nine wins. A lot of resources have been taken away from Green Eggs and Ham, which means 800 GPM might make their way towards the Fire Giant, or they might sit in a bush and look for a pick.
I don't understand that play of why Pershing and Koja are there in mid lane, to be honest. Just surprised there without the true damage dealers in tow, why they look to really force a play in mid. Maybe it was just looking to bait a relic, but ultimately it will come down to a trade of objectives. Gold Fury will go the way of Green Eggs and Ham. Fire Giant, the best objective they really want here on the right hand side, gonna go the way of 800 GPM. A great look here for the likes of Adapting and Co. and Solar Troll has been doing great work here on the front side, just continuing. We mentioned it in the picks and bans. The displacement abilities, the knockup, the push, the knockup again off the ultimate, Adapting right in tow there. One of those abilities from Sot, forcing the beads, Adapting there with the Fear No Evil, and someone on the other side will get cooked.
Almost 30 minutes into this game, a 6K gold lead now for 800 GPM as they just burned down that fire giant. The dagger this time in hands of Deduin, and they've got a lot of fight potential. But how does 800 GPM start a fight optimally?
That is a good question, to be honest. I think, honestly, I mean, Vives, it's got to be Vives at this point. The Ymir walls have just been on point every single time, though it might be a little more difficult around this Phoenix line, and really pushing in might be difficult. The Hecate has decent engage as well with the open the gates, just zoning people back. I mean, Green Eggs and Ham, they have great counter engage, so they have to be a little careful, do 800 GPM. They honestly might just want to kind of play this really slow, walk up, throw out some abilities, push the members of Green Eggs and Ham back, and then step on in, poke out the bird, then back up a little bit. The all-in from Green Eggs and Ham is still very scary. If they can pull the important engage and just kite that out, and then they themselves re-engage, I think they'll be in a pretty good spot.
Creeping up around this Phoenix, 800 GPM, looking to maybe put the final nail in the coffin for this game at the 30-minute mark, as they sit around and wait for an opportunity, wait for someone to step up and put themselves out of position, adapting, split pushing up middle, looking to grab that tier 2 tower, while all 5 of Green Eggs and Ham are definitely interested in what's going on here on the left side, as adapting burns that tier 2, and we're getting towards this end game phase here. Walking in, Sot looking for a knockup. He does get plucked down in quick time. Hero of the 9 wins, does good damage. Wait a minute, Eagles rallies out, forcing it, Pershing away. Vampora takes down Sot, who dove just a tad too hard. Deduin's able to find Vampora, and there's bodies all over the floor, one for each side. Vibes is in trouble here. Koja is doing his best to lock him down here. Drunk Diplomat does massive damage. Diplomat takes down Vibes. Adapting finds Drunk Diplomat in the back line as well. Deduin looking to make something happen here is one body on each side here. Snottar takes down Des in quick time. What in the world is going on here? Adapting takes down Pershing. This could be the end of the game. But what's going to happen from here? Adapting, picking away at this fire giant. Koja Fox is the only thing that's left to try and defend it. Deduin is going to lock him down. Snotstar is going to find the kill, and the fire giant is next on the Titan is next on the chopping block.
I mean, Green Eggs and Ham, they were in it. They were doing a great job of defending. As
what is going on?
Ultimately, are you getting new? Are you in the new WAFOG right now? Is that what's going on more? But no, I mean, Green Eggs and Ham, they were in it, but they just made a couple mistakes at the end there. We'll throw it to a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about that game and just how much better 800 GPM did.
Hello, everybody, and we are back with the Smite Prime September circuit live on Smite Prime and Smite Game. This is Morty Jithin's test dive behind the scenes, and right next to me is Book. And why don't you give me a bit of a breakdown on what we just saw?
800 GPM, they had the lead. Green Eggs and Ham, they were in it. They were never really out of it. I mean, look, it was a very competitive game from Green Eggs and Ham. I thought there were moments they could have won that game. I even thought there were moments in that Phoenix defense where they were just going to turn it around, come out on top of just, we found a pick onto one important member. I believe it was Solar Troll. And then, the rest of the members show up after from the likes of 800 GPM, and Green Eggs and Ham. They just kind of stuck around a little bit too long. Dest going in for the 1v1 against Snodstar on the left-hand side was a bit of a question mark in my opinion. But I mean, look at these player damage numbers. I mean, Pershing doing big numbers, Dest doing wonderful numbers for his team, but across the way, Solar Troll to me and Deduin were just in there, man. Deduin throwing out those open the gates and then casting from a distance, but Solar Troll, the displacement guy, getting in there, throwing out the boulders. It's just being the presence and the body in the way. So Green Eggs and Ham, they just had a hard time for their backline to really free cast.
Yeah, they felt very comfortable going in that, adapting to doing. The whole crew there for 800 GPM just really took care of things. And while that game happened, a couple other games happened in the background. Let's take a look at the bracket and see where everyone is at. Looks like Donzi is going to face off 800 GPM here in the quarterfinals. Unforgettable Dance, waiting on the results from Joe Biden Esports and Road to Vegas. Smite 2 Bad Boys versus Strength of Wood. That's going to be a banger.
Yeah, that's going to be a heated one right there between these two teams. I mean, we mentioned it, before we started the first game. Strength of Wood was going to be one of the teams to watch this week. We look at players like Snatty, who roll swap support, and that team's been competitive week in, week out. They haven't never been the top team, but they're always competitive with the top teams. And maybe this is their week to try and finally take a game off of the likes of the Smite 2 Bad Boys, the clocked ins of the brackets. So maybe this is their week. Maybe they're still warming up. Snatty roll swapping. It's a newer roster. They're still kind of locking in as a unit and still scrimming week in, week out. This team will only ramp up as the weeks go on. We're in week 3. Maybe this is it. Maybe they've gotten they figured it out. Maybe they figured out their meta, their play style. We'll have to wait and see, though.
But for now, we've got picks and bans on the horizon. Why don't we take a deep dive in and look at our next matchup between the Smite 2 Bad Boys and Strength of Wood?
Yep, these will be our two teams. Strength of Wood, the likes of John Rowing, NMR, Kaidan, Snatty, Kieka, Remakami, Twig, Moswell, Aurora, and Donut Dog on the side of Smite 2 Bad Boys. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Smite 2 Bad Boys, they have first pick. This is, in my opinion, I think first pick is a little bit better. Just a little bit better right now. I think there's a lot of conversation on which people like more. Mercury. There's been a lot of talk about Mercury as of late. We see Jingwei Jungle. We see Jingwei Jungle. She's the crit hunter, but Mercury is the OG crit character in the jungle. I'm kind of surprised that we see that bend away, but maybe NMR just absolutely popped off in the last round on this character, or has been popping off on scrims in it. It's a strong character that can just roam the map quickly, clear camps quickly, and just make plays in sidelines. So if NMR is the one to watch, wouldn't be surprised if Smite 2 Bad Boys continue to ban him out.
Yeah, I think I want to do a little more player investigation on NMR and see if that's a common pick for him, because I feel like really the only jungler in Smite Prime that I've seen do crazy things with Mercury is Scream. I mean, that's right up Scream's alley, right? He kind of just like walks around the map and just looks to be sometimes aggressive, sometimes annoying, just depending on what the situation calls for. But he's really been loving that Mercury pick. Maybe NMR is also a Mercury enjoyer, but not today. He's not. Aladdin ban on the side of Strength of Wood, locking down another jungler, Wukong and Ares to follow. No surprise on those two power picks going forward. But who do you think our first pick is going to be, just based on what we've seen so far?
I'm not entirely sold. It really depends on what these two teams prioritize, in all honesty. I think Moswell does like Hecate a little bit, so maybe that is the priority of the Smite 2 Bad Boys. The Ares was going to be an answer, but maybe it is just the Hui Yi. We saw that being our first pick last game, and we talked about how it arguably can flex to 3 roles. Moswell isn't really much of a hunter player, but Doug loves the Hui Yi, also loves the Jingwei, and that character still being on the table means that could be the priority for the Smite 2 Bad Boys. Could flex to jungle if Twig has been playing it, but Donut Doug loves the Jingwei, so wouldn't be surprised if it's either of those two hunter lock-ins here.
A lot of junglers taken away. Twig and NMR are both really prominent junglers, so no surprise to see so many of these jungler gods locked away and being done for this game of the bracket. But that leaves open a lot of other options. Like you said, could be a Jingwei, it could be an Apollo, we could see an Ullr or something crazy right here, but Hu Yi is open. Part of me thinks that Hu Yi is going to be our first lock-in. We're still waiting for the decision between the Smite 2 Bad Boys.
Yeah, I mean, these teams, they have the option. Ooh, okay, Scylla. So, yeah, we never even talked about Scylla. Big Scylla fan there, Mort. But it is likely going to be a Scylla support here for Aurora, and this Aurora loves this character. It is right up Aurora's alley, a character that is squishy but can get in there, be an absolute nuisance in the backline, and that's what this character can do. Be tanky and also just be a nuisance in the backline. Strength of Wood, they respond with the Hui Yi. I love this as an answer. Probably going to go to Kieka in the ADC role, and then Agni. going the way of Kaidon, especially now that the Yi lock-in is there. Though maybe, I mean, look, anytime we say, oh, this character is going to go to this role, it's Hou Yi, it should go to ADC, but we've seen Hou Yi mid, we've seen Hou Yi jungle, we've seen Agni ADC, some Agni solo once upon a time. So these characters, yes, they should go in their traditional roles, but are they really going to go there? I'm not sold on it just yet, but I do like it as a great start. 2 characters with big AoE circles for damage.
Dude, I love the Scylla support because the aspect was out for a hot minute. Everyone's like, nah, it's not good. It's not good. And then King Bob's like, hey, look what I saw on Twitter. Look what I just found. Look what I saw on Smite TikTok or something, right? And then they just see it and they're like, this is crazy. Like, what is this
has to be
actual
broken.
like meta of a support? You can just build mana. You get defense from some of these mana items as well, like Breastplate of Valor. You become tanky. You get damage on board, and then you've got lockdown as well. You've got prot reduction. There's so much to love about Scylla, and then joining the fray for the Smite 2 bad boys, Nemesis and Odin. You've got even more damage. Now you've got a cage that forces a relic or forces a death. This comp looks crazy.
Yeah, speaking of crazy looking comps, across the way, Strength of Wood, they've locked in the Merlin. The Ganesha is a nice look. I really like this lock in here for the side of Strength of Wood, putting Snatty on a character that just has more AoE space control, but where are these characters going? There is a Merlin here, and there's an Agni, and there's a Hou Yi. My thought process is Merlin mid, Agni ADC, Hou Yi jungle. That would probably make most sense to me. Across the way, Smite 2 bad boys, they've locked Baron Samedi and the Jingwei. So Jingwei is going to go the way of Donut Doug in the AD carry role, like kind of previously mentioned. And Moswell likely going to be the one piloting the Baron Samedi. I don't think that's going to be a Scylla mid. Scylla just way better in support, and Moswell loves the Baron Samedi mid. Across the way, though, Geb is the hover, and in my opinion, Geb is the worst support in the game right now. But is it going to be Geb support? I think this is potentially Geb solo.
Geb solo in Smite Prime? It must be my birthday. Somebody wake me up, pinch me. Oh, this is crazy. What is going? This comp looks nuts on both sides. What looks like on Smite. Sorry, I'm getting a little excited for picks and bans.
No,
I'm a little
great.
passionate here.
We live off the passion. We're here for the passionate vibes. We love the Geb solo. I think it's Geb solo. My only other thought process is maybe a Geb jungle here. So Smite 2 bad boys, they have a very aggressive front line. It's the Scylla, the Nem, and the Odin. I believe it's Nem solo, Odin jungle. Twig screams as a classic Odin jungle player. And Nem is just really strong in the solo lane right now with the aspect, so she's going to build really tanky and just be a nuisance in the back line, similar to Aurora's play style. The likes of Strength of Wood, they've gone towards 3 high damage backliners with lots of AoE damage. They've paired it with a Ganesh and Geb who just have AoE CC, and we'll have to get into game here and see where all these characters go, because I'm excited. I'm not sure where anything's going, and I just can't wait to see what it is.
There's only one way to find out, my man. Let's get into this game and unfold the quarterfinals of Smite 2 bad boys against Strength of Wood. This is John Rowing on Geb. Oh my goodness, the aspect as well. Geb in support, Scylla support in this game. Moswell is on Baron. This is going to be a heater of a game.
I mean, I don't like the aspect, if I'm being honest here. When I think of Geb solo, I think of this. Yeah, okay. Let me break down. Geb solo to me is this Guardian solo you're putting over there to just be a character that soaks up farm and in the mid late game can rotate out really easy from solo and impact team fights with the AoE CC. John Rowing here going for the aspect tells me they might go a little more down the damage realm of things, building more towards the int and maybe even going for a one-shot build, especially paired with the Blink relic they've gone for. Could just look to one-shot the likes of Donut Doug or Moswell, especially because Moswell, one of those characters that does have that open the coffins, sure, but is incredibly vulnerable. No dashes on this character means they're going to be a pretty easy lockdown on this mid laner.
looking at solo side, Odin versus Geb, probably the most boring matchup I've ever heard of. That sounds awful. Let's just test if you could just keep cameras on left side for the first 15 minutes of the game. That'd be fantastic. Aurora getting chased out of that purple buff that Aurora tried to invade on, but able to walk away with it as well.
Yeah, Aurora, just the Sunder and then out secures Snatty on that one. Twig is in the enemy jungle on the speed buff. This is Smite 2 bad boys are just in the enemy jungle. They're invading. They're taking away the early farm. This is a great look because Strength of Wood, they are a little bit better in the early game, I'd argue, just because of how much early game damage they have. Merlin has 4 abilities at a moment's notice. And, the Yi, has the early CC. Once they hit 5, that ultimate for space control. Across the way, though, Smite 2 bad boys, they kind of want to cook a little bit. The Nem needs an item or two, and Nem jungle, by the way, a little surprised by that. But, especially because there's no crazy tanks on the side of the Smite 2, or the Strength of Wood team. They kind of have 3 carries and then 2 beefy frontliners in Geb and Ganesha. So if that's who Twig's target is going to be, okay, sure. But Odin, I think, would have been a lot nicer here. Looking to force out the cages and then force those dashes so Aurora can go in as that secondary. I think that would have been a much better look for the Smite 2 bad boys, but I think they're going to try and make it work as NMR here invading the back camp says Donut Truck Doug is going to defend the big camp.
Yeah, that's something that Musy's touched on quite a bit as well, that Odin is much more efficient in the jungle rather than in solo, because that Odin cage is so impactful, but when you lock it down to only the solo lane for a good amount of time, if you're not able to rotate, if you get caught behind just a tad, then that Odin cage doesn't do as much, rather than if you move it around the map as a jungler, and the damage is still online. We've seen Sunprod go nuts on the Odin jungle, right? So you're able to have that damage. It's just a matter of where that ultimate is being utilized, and I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to Odin. That's why people play him, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things I would have liked to have seen if Twig, and Twig has been around for a hot minute as well. Twig has always screamed to me as hold that. They're looking for the first blood here on a John Rowing, who is just an incredibly safe Geb, will roll away to safety. But Twig has always been one of those, the true setup jungler for me. And so seeing the Nem play more of a hard carry style, I wouldn't be surprised if he builds a little bit of hybrid anyways. But if they went for the Odin, they could have gone true supportive style, gone for the Triton's Conch first item here, and then, really facilitated the likes of Moswell in the mid lane, who is just so vulnerable, just impacting here as forcing the beads out of Kaidon early. Moswell hits 5 first, and that's a great pull off of the Merlin mid as NMR taking a 1 here against Twig, doesn't land the ricochet.
They're going to go over to these Firebrands and try and melt that down. The Aspect of Calamity is going to do some good work here. All that damage dealt onto those Firebrands along with NMR. That damage is just so big and so much. They're utilizing their resources early, right? I think that there's a lot of early game potential from Strength of Wood, and they're definitely utilizing that.
But this has opened up the door to a red buff invade as Twig now actually could get caught. Great ricochet from NMR, and he claims first blood.
Twig is dead. Oh, he tried to be a little ambitious there and maybe pick away at that red buff, but 2 against 1, how does that land, especially when a stun from Hu Yi locks you down? I mean, there's just no walking away from that if you're Twig.
No, absolutely not. As Twig, we haven't touched on it yet. Hold that. Aurora going to commit the ultimate here onto Snatty. 3, the third one doesn't connect, but Snatty is able to walk away to safety, that ultimate being down Aurora. They look to be aggressive here, but Jingwei Scylla, not the most aggressive duo lane in the game right now.
Yeah, you know what? I think that really the Jingwei pick is meant to try and counteract the trample from Snatty. It's going to knock him up, and he's just going to dash out. That's really how that goes. Aurora is getting stunned away. The meteors from Agni almost locked down Aurora, but the dash from Scylla is going to make sure that Aurora hits safety. A bit of fighting happening in solo, just slapboxing. Yeah, nothing, no big deal. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, fight over here in duo. Kieka does lock down Doug around the corner, and oh my god, that was so much in such a short amount of time. That damage was crazy.
Doug also got his Relic Force there, so no beads on the Jingwei means they're going to be awfully vulnerable. They do have that ultimate. That cooldown was not taken in that moment, thankfully for him, but Doug now has to be a little careful here because there is a lot of CC on the side of Strength of Wood. We mentioned it, the ricochet out of Strength of Wood. We saw it there again. Open up onto the engage there onto the Jingwei as John Rowing commits the ultimate here on the right hand side and is once again a Geb who will roll away to safety. I mean, this is just what's going to happen for the next 10, 15 minutes on this right hand side. These two are going to slap fight each other, and then John Rowing will likely walk away afterwards, just rolling away to safety.
That's Geb for you, man. He just doesn't die. Not just because of the rollout, but because of how tanky Geb is through his passive. He can't take more than 25% of his health in one hit. He gets reduced damage from basic attacks and crits. I think that Geb is just such a strong god going into this, especially up against these basic attack focus gods like Nem and Donut Doug. Geb is just not going to die nearly as fast as the other tanks.
Well, especially because, we talk about it right now. Jingwei is so good. Why is she so good? Well, she's one of the few hunters that can really build crit effectively. You put a Geb across the table, suddenly that build that Donut Doug loves to go towards and other junglers love to go towards, the true one-shot crit build, the elbow into rage into... What is NMR doing here? He's just poking out Twig, I guess. But this one-shot build that Doug is likely going to go for and is still going towards, by the looks of things, with that elbow completed first, it's not going to be as effective against John Rowing, who's just going to be in your face with this Blink Gebolt.
Yeah, that Gebolt is going to get nasty, especially now that it does that percentage max health. It does that to structures as well, or not structures, sorry, jungle bosses. Scylla ults out, maybe looking for some damage on Kieka. Has one more, using that CC immunity to try and stay safe here. Gold Fury is getting burned away, and Twig is going to secure that for the Smite 2 bad boys. Going to put them in a tad bit better of a position than they were in.
Roar, the classic support of, hey, look at me, I'm doing something over here while the rest of my team does something over there. The Gold Fury going to go the way of the Smite 2 bad boys. And it's off of a great magic trick from Aurora, some misdirection going on. It's, hey, I'm ulting here. Here's my I'm a monster. Oh, and the rest of my team is going to take this objective, and now we're up a bit of gold here, but Strength of Wood's still in it, and actually they have a bit of a gold lead, probably off of the first blood, just 100, but it's not a lot, but it's there. And so Smite 2 bad boys, they're right back in it. If not, they could get a little bit of a lead here off the Naga. It is a dead even game at 7.5 minutes in, despite there being 2 kills on the side of Strength of Wood.
Yeah, these kills are, somewhat meaningful, but they're not going to dictate entirely how this game's going so far, as Aurora is getting looked at by 3 bodies from Strength of Wood, and Amar is going to push off of Aurora and just go for some camps instead, try and get a little more XP under his belt. And we're back to this farming game that we're notorious for, but when do you think we see a little more focus on this Gold Fury?
I imagine on the next spawn, in all honesty. I think the side of Strength of Wood, they have these double ADCs in terms of Agni, in terms of Evan Noir, going towards a crit build. They have that rage completed. And actually, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bit of fighting before the next Gold Fury spawn. MMR wanting to stack that as soon as possible, as Kieka could be a bit of trouble. Oh, the root off the mark here. And Donut Doug just going to throw some auto attacks back. And actually now Aurora could be in trouble.
Scylla's in trouble. The knockup's out from Snatty, locking down Aurora's got a couple hundred health to his name. He's going to dash out of there, leaving Donut Doug by himself. The dash and the ult are going to get Donut Doug to safety under that tier 1 tower. He's A-OK. Right-hand side, a bit of fighting happening as the Odin cage is out. Hugi diving in, looking for Odin, but the leap is out as well. The Sunbreaker Meteor locks down Remakami. He's got the shield out, and John Rowing chasing him. He's able to find him with the end of the shockwave. John Rowing able to find a kill there. Very nice for Strength of Wood.
Okay, that looks sick. John Rowing hopping over the OE ultimate wall just to get in there and get that last hit. That looks so cool. As Twig now looking for a play on this left-hand side, looking to hunt down Kieka, but has not been seen just yet until now. Kieka spots him. Now Twig actually could be in trouble because NMR is on the way here.
Dive in from NMR, looking for the stun, but couldn't quite find it just yet. Mazbal takes down Kaidon in the middle lane in the process. Twig still on the escape. It looks like he's A-OK, but he might be turning things back around. He's going to go towards Mazbal. He's okay.
Yeah, this should be some good pressure here in mid. As on left-hand side, Aurora looking to take down Kieka with that I'm a Monster, but can't land the next 2 shots of it, and so we'll chill out. Meanwhile, Moswell and Twig are going to likely take down this tier 1 in the mid lane. MMR trying to defend it, but can't.
He's going to leap out of there. He's A-OK. He's not going to fall in the process. But, yeah, that middle lane tower falling does hurt Strength of Wood just a tad bit, as Remakami in the whole process is going after these firebrands.
Yeah, he's looking to stack that up. Despite not having a Devourer's Gauntlet, more of a takeaway here from the side of Strength of Wood. Not going to allow them to have that. But still, Odin being a hybrid scaler means they're going to use both benefits. One thing we just haven't mentioned of the priority of the elementals. I loved what Strength of Wood and Smite 2 Bad Boys have been doing when they drop down all those shots. There's, just give it to the split scalers, give it to the Hui, who's a hybrid scaler, give it to the Odin, who has some split scaling. Those characters use both benefits of those stacks a lot more than just the strength scalers or the true int scalers, as John Rowing gets ulted on this right-hand side.
Cataclysm in response. John Rowing living through this action decently well, but he's nobody's going to fall there. Just solo lane slapboxing. Nothing new to us, right?
No, absolutely not. And actually, I don't even know if John Rowing had to commit the ultimate there, as Gold Fury is on the map, so would like to see these two solo laners maybe rotate, especially John Rowing. They are at a point now with 2 items as I'm a monster committed here onto Snatty. They're trying to pick the Ganesh. Brings them down to half HP as there's dash in from Aurora, still playing aggressive here on the Scylla.
Bit of fighting happening by the Oracles as well. Twig looking to pick those off and maybe secure things down. Sunbreaker is forced out from NMR, but couldn't quite find any kills just yet. Both 5 bodies on both sides are all alive, and that Gold Fury just now respawned. Both teams looking to maybe regroup and go for that Gold Fury.
John Rowing here around the red buff here. Could be looking for Moswall.
No.
Has the blink ready. Are they going to just go for the one-shot combo? They don't have the damage. They do end up stealing away the red buff. No, they don't. And now John Rowing in a world of hurt. Kaidan shows up late, though, to the fight, and here comes MNR.
Remakami's able to take down Kaidan, and the fight unfolds. It continues. Onamar in the air. Where is he going to land? He's going to take down Twig before he falls to Moswall, and a couple bodies down on each side. Twig is the only one that dies for the Bad Boys, but Strength of Wood finds 3 in that whole exchange, and that's going to let them grab Pyromancer for free.
Again, this is why John Rowing's, Geb aspect isn't necessarily the best. In that instance, if he has no aspect, can walk forward, knock up Moswall, then ult him. It delays just a little bit longer some of the damage from the Baron for the rest of the team of Strength of Wood to rotate in. There, it's just damage on damage, and John Rowing, they don't have the highest damage capability just yet. The Helm of Radiance will help a little bit, sure, but just nowhere near a true mage will do in terms of one-shot potential. So it's going to take a bit for John Rowing to really be able to be a factor when it comes to their damage. So again, I just have a hard time buying into this Geb aspect just yet. I think going non-aspect, the knockup is the best CC in the game. We talk about it all the time. It's just very hard here, I think, for the side of Strength of Wood to really utilize the best position of their composition, I suppose.
Twig fighting with NMR here in middle lane. Moswall just a tad bit late to the party. He does land the root, but couldn't quite find the consigned spirits. Life of the party looking to vortex in NMR, and that it does. Secures the kill. NMR forced into the coffin. Meanwhile, Aurora is in a tad bit of trouble. Nah, he's okay.
Yeah, they should be all right, especially now that Gold Fury is up. You imagine Smite 2 Bad Boys will be turning their eye towards that objective as Kieka takes a ton of damage here to Donut Doug. And I'm a monster committed as well from Aurora. And all the while, the Gold Fury will be pulled yet again. Tell me if you've seen this one before. Aurora uses I'm a Monster in the left-hand side, and the other 3 members look towards the Gold Fury, and they will take it here, 13.5 minutes in.
Hey, man, if it works, it works. Strength of Wood just a tad bit late to the party. Aurora is now their point of interest, sitting at about half health, and Kaidan looking to lock him down. Aurora jumps over the wall. Great flicker from Kaidan, and now look at Snatty on the chase. He's going to use the obelisk to lock him down, and just a tad bit late as well. John Rowing looking to maybe reinforce there.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen that one before. John Rowing rotating over to this left-hand side and still looking for more here. Donut Doug has that ultimate, should be okay, but has that ultimate forced just in time as they're able to avoid the Cataclysm.
That was a great ult there from Donut Doug. That absolutely saved his life, because that stun from Cataclysm would have killed him 100%. Kaidan's there. He's got all this damage. Sorry, not Kaidan. Kieka's got all that damage there. He would have just melted quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Keka has the damage. They have the Frenzy. They have the Elbow going towards more of a yellow numbers build and true just basic attack damage build. Kind of surprised to see the Frenzy, though. That's not an item we see first overall for Hunters too often. I've been seeing a little more as of late, and maybe this is the true new ADC build when you're not going crit. I still think Elbow is arguably the best when you're going towards crit, and still decent even when you don't go crit. But, Kieka just trying something out that's a little different than what most people normally go towards.
15 minutes into this game and a 4K gold lead for Smite 2 Bad Boys. John Rowing might uneven those odds just a tad bit more. The sun lands from Odin. John Rowing is in big trouble. The Stone Shield will not save you today. Twig finds the kill, and the tier 1 tower, and Solo is next on the chopping block.
And Amar could be in a bit of trouble here as well. Aurora on the way, lands the root, but Aurora's just going to dash away. The numbers of Strength of Wood are a little bit better here on this left-hand side.
And look at Kieka walking up to Donut Doug, doing some decent damage, even though he's under tower. That health bar melts in extreme time. Both carries very low on health, but look at Odin. Remakami looking to dive over. The jump is down, but the bush. He's going to get out. Kieka's out.
In mid lane, though, you look at this. Twig on the hunt here, looking for kills. I'm a monster over the wall. Twig, can they get out? Oh, the Ganesh ultimate, 1 HP.
Life of the party in response, able to lock down Snatty. Twig picks up the kill with the slice and dice, and a couple low health bars on the side of Smite 2 Bad Boys means they can't just grab anything here. That Pyromancer is online, and maybe that's where they gravitate towards.
Likely. This is the general direction they're on their way towards, though. Aurora is just still playing to poke out the enemy of Strength of Wood. MMR gonna likely just continue farming as much as possible. You can see Smite 2 Bad Boys on the way. Remakami coming from base. Kieka and John Rowing on this left-hand side, though, tells me they're likely gonna have to forego this Pyromancer and just play for a pick onto the Jingwei, who again has ultimate and has beads again.
That's what feels so unfair about this Scylla support, is that Aurora's just walking up to NMR and he's like, hey, we both do the same amount of damage, but I'm way tankier than you. Remakami takes down the Pyromancer, another one for the Smite 2 Bad Boys, and things are looking very good for them, but Strength of Wood just a tad bit out of this game. Very apparent in the gold lead. I'm a Monster's out, does good damage to Snatty, lands 2 ticks, waiting for the third, and the trample is going to get him out of that one. Could not quite connect. Diving into the tower here, Donut Doug is in trouble. Kieka looking to lock him down. The Stone Shield here from John Rowing. He's taking it away. Donut Doug is able to take down Kieka, and he lives through the 2v1, and he finds a couple kills in the process. Donut Doug alive and well in duo.
Donut Doug coming up big there. Had his ultimate forced early on. I thought that was going to be a potential look for Strength of Wood. Kieka did a brilliant job of forcing the Jingwei ultimate early, as now MNMR could be a bit of trouble. Has no dash to get away here out of the cage and should fall down.
Twig makes sure of it. That is 3 bodies down on the side of Strength of Wood. Snatty and Kaidon, the only ones left. And with all 5 members healthy and wealthy on Smite 2 Bad Boys, they just might make their way towards this Fire Giant.
Yeah, that gold lead we were talking about earlier, that was a little bit in the lead of Strength of Wood, just by 100 gold or so. It's now 7,000 gold lead to Smite 2 Bad Boys, off the back of 5 more kills than the likes of Strength of Wood and 2 Gold Furies to boot. I mean, yeah, Donut Doug just coming up a big play there. 2 clean kills. NMR just playing way too aggressive without backup, as Moswell looking for a solo kill here on a Snatty. He might get it here.
Good Science Spirits almost make sure of it. Snatty is super low on health. Aurora is looking to chase him down, but Aurora doesn't want to dive. Yes, he does. He's still a support. Of course he can, but not able to catch up to him.
Likes of Strength of Wood, Kieka and Kaidon work together to get themselves a Gold Fury this game. That does cut the gold lead a little bit, but it's not going to cut the gold lead by much, as Smite 2 Bad Boys with this Fire Giant are going to look to take all these towers on the map. So there's the tier 1, tier 2 in left, the tier 2 in mid, and the tier 2 on the right. So this is a ton of gold on the map ready for the Smite 2 Bad Boys to take, as Donut Doug and the rest of the team will group up here in the mid lane, as John Rowing on the right-hand side here could be in trouble to Twig.
Look, Twig's really not hurting that bad, but he does have a lot of CC, and John Rowing is a little afraid of that. Does force the Cataclysm. Rollout is going to get John Rowing to safety as the fight unfolds here in the middle lane. Odin Cage is out. I'm a Monster does good damage. Aurora's going to find Snatty. That's 1 body down so far, and John Rowing and NMR are very low on health. Looks like Kieka was going for a split push, but he's forced back to base to try and defend what could be their Titan as the Phoenix falls. But Bad Boys are going to walk away from this and not go much further than that middle lane Phoenix, and I cannot blame them. There's a lot of towers left on the side lanes. Let's go for those first.
Yeah, too much HP on the Titan still. Got to chip away at a few more of those towers before we can go for the end here. But Smite 2 Bad Boys, they're still positioning aggressively here, as Kieka taking a bit of a 1v1 against Twig, taking a bit of his health bar away, as up by the gate there, you can see a bit of a fight here, a pick here on the Remakami.
Pressing up on that tier 2 tower on the right side. Smite 2 Bad Boys approach their way to what could be the second Phoenix so far. Bad Boys feel confident. Donut Doug's looking to split push though and maybe grab that tier 1 on left side. Bad Boys take down that tier 2. Strength of Wood feel confident, so they're pressing forward. Maybe looking to take down Twig, but I don't think they're going to find him.
No, they have to get the important items still. No Titan's Bane yet for Kieka. He's still farming a little bit more. You see Kaidon has 4 items. Kaidon actually might be in the best position out of everyone here on the team. They've got some important items: the Polynomicon, the Chronos Pendant, the Totem of Death, the Rod of Tahuti. Now likely going to work towards a bit of an Ob Shard more than likely, if I were to guess. But these are expensive items. I'm not sure you're going to get another an Ob Shard here before the game either ends or before Smite 2 Bad Boys look for an important fight, as Kieka on this left-hand side just getting absolutely murked by Donut Doug.
Great dash forward, but every action has consequences. NMR around the corner, but Twig looking to reinforce what's going on. Twig is here, chasing down NMR. Where is he going to go here? The jumps off from NMR. Where is he going to land? He's going to land back down. Maybe look for a pick. The Sunbreaker in response, but there's just no way you win that one, big dog. NMR is taking down all 3 members of Smite 2 Bad Boys here on the left side. Is here in the middle lane. Wait a minute. Remakami and Aurora are in the Titan room, chasing down the leftovers of Strength of Wood. What is going on here?
This Scylla has just been in the face of Strength of Wood all game, just running at whoever they can find and poking and poking and poking as much as possible, making it difficult for Strength of Wood to even leave their base. Look at this. I'm a Monster committed here. They're trying to kill off Snatty in the Titan room.
No way. They almost were able to, but the damage wasn't quite online there. Remakami and Aurora walking away as the rest of the Bad Boys are on this left Phoenix yet again as they're looking to take it down. John Rowing roll out in. Cataclysm completely whiffed, does not connect. Life of the Party is going to vortex him in, and John Rowing might have thrown that fight right there. Pressing on forward there is Remakami looking for a big cage that he doesn't have up just yet as the rest of the Bad Boys on this Phoenix melting it down in quick time. Remakami dashes out with just a bit of health to his name. Okay. Kaidon able to find a bit of damage and take him down here. John Rowing still dead. 4 bodies left for Strength of Wood. Or looks like Aurora might get picked off here. He's going to dash away, and he's A-OK. Twig gets out just in time before NMR lands on his head top. I'm a Monster forced out for the security of Aurora's life, and they walk away with 2 Phoenixes and a lot of confidence.
Yeah, that was how can we not talk about it? That was a tough one for John Rowing. Tried to get the dash canceled, and then the blink off in time, got put in combat, used the Cataclysm anyways. The fingers went before the brain worked in that moment, so Strength of Wood just struggled there on the left-hand side defense. That ultimate, the CC immunity being down, meant the pull from Moswell was good. Snatty trying to steal this Gold Fury. They need anything at this point, so I don't mind this potential look here, but no Sunder means that the Smite 2 Bad Boys are going to be able to secure this objective. Twig could get caught though. NMR with the ricochet off the mark here, and the wall does not come in time. Does force the Magi's though.
Wow, that was a lot there. Twig got lucky that he was on the right side of that Sunbreaker, because that meteor might have gotten his life taken away from him. That would have been extremely bad. As the Strength of Wood, they look for whatever they can find on the map. That Pyromancer is up, but up pressing forward is Donut Doug. He's walking towards that Pyro. It is getting melted down at half health and continues to burn down slowly but surely. Remakami locking down John Rowing. The Stone Shield might not save your life today. The Cataclysm is forced out. The Shockwave does decent damage, but Donut Doug melts down John Rowing in quick time as Aurora and the rest of the Bad Boys chase forward looking for what's left of Strength of Wood. NMR all by himself. Aurora maybe looking for some lockdown, but can't quite catch up to him. I think this means Fire Giant time for the Bad Boys.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't imagine we'll see Aurora walking too far back towards this Fire Giant when they are just such an incredibly safe character, still playing aggressive here, just zoning out members of Strength of Wood from being able to step up here. John Rowing just dies again, playing just no real way out of this cage once the dash is committed there. So it's so difficult for this Geb when they're on their own and still just kind of going more towards of a hybrid build, just not true tankiness just yet. So it's just an easy pick here for the likes of the Smite 2 Bad Boys, especially when they're committing all their damage dealers to the likes of an objective like Pyromancer. And I mean, this is just a tough one for Strength of Wood. They are behind. Mm-hmm. They are characters that need farm, that need items to really be effective. We look at Agni ADC as one of them, the Hui as one of them, you know, going towards this crit build. Has no pen online just yet, now building towards it as a Titan's Bane. But it might be too little too late. Aurora is just so healthy in the mid lane and continues to be a menace for Strength of Wood on this Scylla.
You know what's crazy too is that he's the lowest level member of Smite 2 Bad Boys, and he's also probably the tankiest. So
he might be the healthiest. Yeah.
It's so wild. It is crazy to see what they're pulling off here as the Bad Boys press onto this mid lane bird. Are they going to be able to take it down? I'm a Monster is out, does force that crowd control immunity, so Scylla's going to be okay, but the fight continues. Slice and Dice out, does good damage, very low on health, and Amar is on the escape, but can he get out of there? Looks like he's okay. John Rowing just as low. Remikami does that, pull out the Odin cage. Kaidon's in trouble. All 5 members of the Bad Boys focus on this bird. They're going to take it down in quick time. Life of the party takes in Snatty and takes him down in quick time. Donut Doug able to find the kill. Only one down for Strength of Wood so far, but that middle lane bird might be next on the agenda for the Bad Boys. The fight continues on the right side. Remikami very low on health, and Twig poked out just a tad as well. A lot of poked out bodies on the Bad Boys. Aurora presses forward, still looking to be just the annoying Aurora that he is. All 3 birds are down. They're going to waltz towards the left one that just respawned and take it down in quick time. This could be the end of days for Strength of Wood.
Aurora just does not care in the face of Kieka and just throwing cooldowns at him. Once again, doing it towards MMR, but now quite low. Has to think. No, never mind. He's over half HP. He's completely fine. He's chill doing whatever he wants here and just throwing out his ultimate I'm a Monster. Says all 3 Phoenixes will fall down here for Strength of Wood. They're now kind of at the point where they're hoping Smite 2 Bad Boys make a mistake and maybe overcommit to a fight that they don't want to be taking. But with veteran players like Donut Doug, like Aurora, like Twig, like Moswall, this is a team that likely isn't going to make a mistake like that. And Aurora's still just so far forward. 5 people here. Can they even kill him?
Wait a minute. The Wind Sprite might save his life. Aurora trying to put on the juke shoes, but he gets locked down by Snatty's trample. And the ult is out from Snatty as well. And Amar takes him down in quick time. Remikami looking to help his friend out, but there's nothing you can do for your fallen friend. Just kiss him goodbye and wait for him, in the afterlife.
Honestly, Strength of Wood. Hold that thought. Remikami looking for plays here mid. Locks down Kieka here in the cage. The rest of the members of the Smite 2 Bad Boys are on the way.
Odin Cage locks him down. Remikami finds a kill on Kieka. 1 body down on each side, and the odds don't necessarily look as good as they once did for Strength of Wood after Kieka gets caught out. Smite 2 Bad Boys make their way towards this Ancient Fury, and Strength of Wood regroup and maybe look for what could be their last defense.
Yeah, Strength of Wood, they have to do a lot of homework here before they can even think to leave their base. Pushing out these waves, making sure their Titan doesn't take a lot of damage before the final push comes from Smite 2 Bad Boys, because it is coming soon. Strength of Wood, they gotta try and get whatever farm they can now at this point, get whatever power spikes we can see. Kaidon has that Soul Reaver online. That should help a little bit more with this Scylla, who just has so much HP on their name. But it's not going to be enough. No Titan's Bane just yet for NMR, still farming towards it. John Rowing has said, I'm not going to be any more tankier than I already am. I have a Mirrodin online here. I'm not sure what you want to double of. If you're going Aspect Geb, maybe just the damage. You're blinking in, double twoing, and ulting or something, I think, at that point. And just trying to one-shot someone is my only thought. And look, maybe this is the Hail Mary attempt here. Fire Giant spawning in 30 seconds here. Left side is being pushed out pretty effectively by Kieka. He can use that teleporter to get on over to this right-hand side pretty quickly. This might be the final stand for Strength of Wood.
Aurora waltzes forward, maybe looking to ward up and get the Bad Boys ready for a big fight here. Aurora looking for a pick on NMR, but around the corner, Donut Doug waltzes in, does massive damage in 2 hits. Kaidon is dead in 2 bullets straight to the chest. There goes Kaidon, and Donut Doug presses forward on Snatty. Twig finds NMR in the middle lane. Moswall finds John Rowing. That's 3 bodies down in the blink of an eye, and Strength of Wood might as well just kiss this game goodbye as Smite 2 Bad Boys waltz forward and pick at what's left of the Strength of Wood. Snatty and Kieka looking to give it their all. Life of the party is here and takes down Kieka, takes down Snatty as well, and down goes the Titan. That is a certified win for the Smite 2 Bad Boys.
Smite 2 Bad Boys just look dominant that game, and it's off of the back of a first pick Scylla. I mean, Aurora just makes that one look easy, just in the faces of Strength of Wood all game long. And look, there's not much you can do in that scenario. I think this is a must-ban character against that team of the Smite 2 bad boys. For any teams watching this right here, right now, if you come up against this team in your Smite Prime bracket, ban Scylla, no matter what. Let them have Aladdin. Let them have whatever they want, just not Scylla.
Book speaks truth. Listen to the man. That being said, we are going to hit a break before we get into our next game, but the semifinals are next, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody. We are back with Smite Prime September Circuit live on Smite Prime and Smite Game. This is Morty here. We've got General Jithens and Testai behind the scenes, and Book next to me here in the booth. And Big Dog, how are we feeling about what we just saw?
Pretty good. If you're a Smite 2 Bad Boys fan, you're feeling really good after watching that one. Look, I mean, it's hard to not say Aurora is my MVP for that game straight up, because just the ability to just play forward as the W key Scylla, it felt so easy for the rest of the members on the team to play that game out, especially, the likes of Moswell and Donut Doug. Not to say that they didn't have highlight reel plays. Moswell with a couple of solo kills onto Kaidon in mid, Donut Doug with the 2v1 outplay, and then just absolutely eviscerating Kaidon at the end of the game there. But it's all off the back of Aurora, as he's just in the faces of Strength of Wood all game long. I mean, the build of full tank and still able to do 500 damage and ability feels pretty good as a support player.
Aurora might be your MVP here. Mine's John Rowing. You know what? It might not have been the most efficient gameplay, but just busting out the Geb and Smite Prime, it was a highlight in my day. So thank you, John Rowing, for giving me that. Yeah, it was a banger of a game for sure. I think there was a lot of back and forth that was, we talked about it for sure, but there was a lot from Strength of Wood. They had a couple good opportunities there. NMR busting out that Huyi jungle, a bit unexpected. Yeah. You did talk about it earlier before game one, that it's been around. It's been a thing, and NMR proving that. It might not be the most efficient, but efficient enough to get them through, right? Speaking of getting through, let's see who got through the bracket and got us to this point that we are at right here, right now, as we have some banger matchups coming up.
Yeah, 800 GPM taking the win against Donzi. I mean, this team that made the roster change of having Solar Troll coming into the team in this whole lane, it has been a huge upgrade for them, and it's making them go kind of all the way. Now going to be taking on Unforgettable Dance across the way. Clocked In versus Smite 2 Bad Boys. The Clocked In team continuing to dominate here on the lower side of the bracket. We'll take on our Smite 2 Bad Boys. Clocked In, if you're watching this, you know what to do, man. You know what to do in picks and bans. You have one job. You have 3 bans. Make sure one of them is Scylla. Otherwise, Aurora is going to do to you exactly what they just did to the likes of the Strength of Wood team. Yeah, it should be a good one, I think, between those two teams. Across the way, 800 GPM, they are arguably on their way to the finals. A massive upgrade for this team. So Solar Troll just putting in work so far.
Well, there's only one obstacle in the way, and that is Unforgettable Dance, also formerly known as Baile Inolvidable, as they've got a couple new players on this side. Sunprod joining the team, and that's a huge addition to the roster. They've already had hard hitters like Dishonored, Baronary, somebody that, you know, a lot of people know, Ronague, Golden. There's a lot of big names on that side, but now we look at 800 GPM, and they've proven themselves today specifically. I mean, obviously we know Sot adapting to doing names for a long time, but Snodstar really showing up with that Huyi pick in game one.
Yeah, and going a bit of an odd idea, you know, the aspect Huyi, something we don't see a whole lot of, and still making it work. Look, if you told me a long time ago that I'd be watching and casting Sunprod versus 2-time world champion, the King adapting, I don't know what I want to tell you, man. I might hit you in that moment, but this is what we're witnessing. Sunprod going to be taking on the King himself. Can the the new take on the old in this moment? And I'm excited to see it. Jingwei Hekate off the table here from Unforgettable Dance. 800 GPM gonna ban away the Merlin and Ares as a response. The Wukong, the final ban from Unforgettable Dance, and the Aladdin ban from 800 GPM. This, I would imagine, should be a Huyi first. I don't imagine you give that up to Snodstar again.
Look, I gotta stick up for Sunprod here, adapting surely the 2-time king, right? But Sunprod, former Smite Prime champion and MVP.
Oh, for sure.
He's got the trophy sitting up there. Does adapting have one of those? I don't know. I don't think so. No, he doesn't.
Nope. Adapte's just got 2 hammers in his back pocket. What can I say?
Okay, all right, all right. Well, who's really going to be hitting hard with no hammer needed is Yemoja, going to be the first pick for Unforgettable Dance. That's a huge one for sure. But what does Yemoja bring to the table that makes her so valuable that she's a first pick?
Lockdown and AoE space control, as well as just healing in terms of the heal and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, just good lockdown, good AoE space control with the help of that ultimate. It sets up Unforgettable Dance for just a strong early mid-game composition, depending on what they want to go for. But just a character that can get active in the lane, get active in the mid-game, use that ultimate. That is the timer. Once the Yemo hits 5, we're looking for plays. She's a playmaker god, and putting it on Rongyu, who, again, one of the top players on this team, Rongyu is going to want to get active here on the Yemoja, I would imagine, and backed up by the Tsukiyomi hover here. I would love to see this on the side of Unforgettable Dance, as well as the Bellona. It is just dive here for Unforgettable Dance so far.
And they're going to need dive to get through to 800 GPM because they have 2 very safe squishies on their side. Agni and Neith, both very, very safe. I mean, that Neith backflip will get you not just a long distance, but over walls as well. And Agni Dash doesn't necessarily have that same benefit, but still a lot of distance, and it does a good amount of damage as well. But I think Bellona and Tsukiyomi are 2 really good responses to that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I like what Unforgettable Dance are drafting. They started first with the Yemo. Okay, what is the counter to Yemo? Let's build our shell. The answer from GPM is, okay, we can get a Neith. That's great. It backflips over the wall. Maybe we can get a shell on our Agni. Well, you can't do that now because you want to be building Aegis against Tsukiyomi and Bellona, who are going to be diving on top of you as a carry. I love these ideas of these compositions that force you to want to get a relic like beads, like shell, but you're forced to go Aegis because there's a character like Nuwa or Tsukiyomi who's going to be diving on top of you and doing all of your health bar in the mid-late game. As Unforgettable Dance, they're going to round out towards their end of their composition with a Hui Yi. I can't believe this character's gone this far in the draft.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking too. And Zeus, what is it? Okay, there's a lot of picks that just went through here that really shocked me. Baron does get picked up for Doduan because Baron Aerie is very comfortable with this Baron pick. He's kind of the pioneer of the Baron mid lane once that aspect of Hysteria drops. So to see that taken away from Baron Aerie and then going towards Doduan, pretty nice. Mordred in Smite Prime in the big, well, maybe not in the big 25. He was really strong earlier this year, but seeing him now in this part of the meta, a bit of a shocker. Zeus is here, no escapes, just a whole bunch of damage. Let's see how that goes. A lot of hot picks that got through here.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be an interesting one for 800 GPM because they've tried to answer what Unforgettable Dance want to do, which is just lock down into big AoE damage. You have Hui Ultimate, Zeus Ultimate, the 2 big AoE characters as carries right now. The Tsukiyomi, who's going to get in there if the members of 800 GPM are corralled into these ultimates, the River's Rebuke. 800 GPM, though, they have some escape potential. The Baron is going to be interesting because, Baron is the classic tried and true counter into Yemo. Likely going to go into the support role, but Neith kind of makes it a little difficult for Unforgettable Dance to really be active in the early game. So it's a battle of who's going to win team fights versus if 800 GPM can get ahead early off of their early picks.
Well, let's see how that goes as we dive into the game, the semifinals of the September circuit. Unforgettable Dance versus 800 GPM. Look at that. Unforgettable rushed out of base. They made their way to that bush, and they're waiting for their first target to waltz around the corner. Snodstar not suspecting of this invade. Don't go in there. No. Okay, here you go. Well, doggy! Here he goes. They're going to push up on top of him. The beads is forced out. Snodstar going to live out of this. He's alive. It didn't work.
They did force the beads, though, so that's a relic off the side of 800 GPM, so it's something. But yeah, I feel like that's a kill that maybe they should have gotten, but maybe I don't know. It's maybe they went a little too early. Maybe they should have just waited an extra second. But I think the longer you wait there, the longer it's going to take for the rest of the members of Unforgettable Dance to get back to their lane assignments. We see some prods starting over on the speed buff, Dishonored on his way over to their blue buff here. So it is. I like the idea. It's still something. They got I believe it's actually the Aegis off of Snodstar.
Yeah, that you pulled something, right? Something's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Can't be mad about it. I like that. I think it was a worthy investment that paid off. As now we get into this farming phase, and Baron Aerie in mid. It looks like I was wrong about thinking that there was a Baron mid. It's actually Neath mid. Completely forgot that Deduin had the Neath here. As maybe some lockdown happens in duo. Snodstar's in trouble.
Oh,
the
Vegas.
Moonstrike connects, and Rongyu takes him down for first blood. Snodstar's in the grave, and Rongyu celebrates.
And that is why that level 1 was just so impactful. Look, level 1s are great. If you don't get the first blood, that's fine. As if you force the relic, that's also fine. It's not fine if you force the relic and then just sit on it for however long for the relic to get off of cooldown, and then it's nothing.
Right.
It's all about nothing. But in that instance, you look at this duo from Unforgettable Dance. It's an aggressive duo. Yemo can play forward, look to just stun lock a combo onto the likes of an Agni who doesn't hit level 2 yet in that moment, and then it's just difficult for Snodstar to get away there with no Aegis. Ends up taking the first blood spill, and it goes on to the Yemo, a character who wants a bit of farm in the early game, wants to rush to level 5 to get active. As in mid lane, speaking of getting active, Sunprod looking for a poke battle with Adapting.
Adapting is surely in trouble. Somersault over the wall will grant him safety, and Sunprod not able to find a kill just yet, but I feel like he looks comfortable on that Tsukiyomi. I can't remember how much we've seen of him on Tsukiyomi in Smite 1, but Smite 2 Sunprod, that's a brand new Sunprod. He is better than ever as he has been. You know what I mean? This guy is completely unfolded as what used to be a mid-tier, high-tier jungler to like top 5 Smite Prime junglers right now.
Yeah, Smite 2 Sunprod is a demon in these queues, and so has been doing so good job so far. One out on the poke battle as Snodstar has to play defensive here on this left-hand side. But one out on the trade around the neutral purple buff, that got them that advantage in the 2v2, and that's what you want to see. Tsukiyomi is really strong right now, by the way. He's a good character that built a lot of strength as Adapting, looking, but not going to find it on here, this left-hand side here. But Tsukiyomi is really good, but you want him to get a bit of farm as, okay, we're definitely going to see a 3v3 here as Adapting finds the stun on Sunprod.
Great stun on Sunprod, and Tsukiyomi's got a lot of damage to follow up in response. Sunprod really chipping away at that health bar on Adapting and forcing the somersault away as Adapting realizes this is a fight that I cannot win. I better get out of here.
And that's twice now. Adapting has kind of stepped to Sunprod, and Sunprod says, I have more damage than you in this early game. And that's true. The Tsukiyomi is going to have more damage. Yes, Tsukiyomi wants to scale. Sure, he's really good in the mid to late game once he has those items completed. But right now, look at the composition from 800 GPM. Who is supposed to contest this Tsukiyomi? It's maybe the Neath. It's maybe Vives, who's on the way over here to the right-hand side to contest these elementals. And they're on the hunt there. Neath ultimate on the mark.
Sunprod is taken down. Vives is able to find the lockdown and the kill, which means 800 GPM can walk to these firebrands and get them for free. A bit of extra strength and intelligence for their lifetime.
Yeah, and this is just an early support rotation that comes up big here for 800 GPM. Rongyu is going to take advantage of that rotation, though, and invade the enemy purple buff, though. So, you know, a trade for trade, but a kill going the way of 800 GPM, and now a blue buff invade as well, though Dishonor does not secure that one, actually. And so just more gold going the way of 800 GPM. So far, it's just a purple invade that goes the way of Unforgettable Dance.
A lot has happened in this short amount of time. Relics used, kills found, and we're barely at 4 minutes in. 2 kills might not seem like a lot, but they feel like impactful kills, right? Because one thing has led to another. Firebrand's being taken away. Gold Fury's next on the list. It spawns in 45 seconds. I mean, there's a lot that's happened so far.
Sunprod just still adapting speed buff. And there is nothing more disrespectful than moments like that where an enemy jungler just runs at the enemy jungler, speed buff, yoinks it, walks away. Yeah, great. Look, it's 2 important kills. We saw Sunprod getting active consistently and still looking to get active here on this left-hand side, but got stunted a little bit. Vives rotates over and nets themselves a kill as an answer back to the first blood. Both supports, the only ones with kills so far, but he's still being active. Like, he's on this left-hand side. He stole the speed buff. He gets a second speed buff now as the neutral camp. And it's just the mental fortitude to get killed and then keep going. Keep the foot to the pedal to the floor, because you want to be active here as Snodstar gets ulted here by Rongyu. Pull back a second time and gonna fall down here to Golden.
Sunbreaker is able to find the final touch of death. Fantastic play from Rongyu right there. The Rivers of Buke to block him off, forcing Snodstar to walk to that left side. There was just so much about that from Rongyu that went correctly. And even when something went slightly awry, he corrected. Great Whirlpool, going to lock him down. And then Golden does the rest. That's just picture perfect support gameplay. It looks like Unforgettable Dance waltz their way towards this Gold Fury and look to take down the first one of the game.
This is smart because 800 GPM, they are prioritizing those elementals because SOT has gone towards the Devo Gauntlet. We talked about it the last game about why that's important to go to the Devo Gauntlet and prioritize those elementals. But Unforgettable Dance, they're ready for it and they'll prioritize the Gold Fury and they get themselves that first one of the game. Dishonor here could be in trouble on the right-hand side. Gets the beads forced.
Neath from downtown did stun Dishonored, but it's the Mordred ult that really forced the beads from Dishonored. I think that was big as far as, maybe locking down right there, but the relic force, that means that Adapting should spend some more time over there. Let's keep feeding firebrands to Solo or Troll. That way he can just keep snowballing from there, really build up those Devo stacks, and there's not going to be a Gold Fury for a good minute, right? You've got time to play with.
Yeah, there's no reason to be on this left-hand side right now, except for maybe defending Adapting speed buff, which is due to spawn soon. And, with how they lost the last one, they might want to look to defend this one, as the purple buff will not be defended, and Unforgettable Dance get another purple buff to their name, taken away from Snodstar, and it's net Golden, a 2-level lead here on this duo side. This Agni is starting to fall behind and is starting to struggle. 800 GPM, they have leads somewhere on the map, but they got to be careful that they don't let the leads elsewhere on the map get too big. Golden with a 2-level lead, it can't get any bigger than that. If it gets to 3, if it gets to 4, there's a world Snodstar just cannot make an impact in this game. And we've seen how they can make an impact in games. The Huiyi in game 1 was very good. The ultimates were crucial to their victories. This time around, we need to see maybe a little bit more attention from Adapting paid to this left-hand side, as there's an execution play on Dishonored.
Beats us down, knock up force, fear no evil as well. Dishonored eats 3 ults, and he's surely going to die for it. Sunprod just a tad bit late to the party. And even if he was there, what are you going to do? World Weaver, Mordred ult, fear no evil? What is a Tsukiyomi going to do in this? Wait a minute. Aegis is forced out. Sunprod dives in looking for a kill around the corners. Rongyu looking to save the life of his friend. The Lifebinder does good work, and SOT forced to use the mini ult from Mordred. Rivers of Buke is out. The Whirlpool does connect. Forced by the Zeus ult, and SOT is surely in trouble, but here comes Adapting into doing, and Adapting is going to take down Baroneri in such quick time. Vives hits the Consigned Spirits, followed by the life of the party, and Rongyu is vortexed in, and the doing is going to make him pay. A couple kills for 800 GPM as Unforgettable Dance take their first big L in quite some time.
Unforgettable Dance, they had such great rotations, but the counter rotations from 800 GPM were just better. The rest of the members showing up late to the party and making the impact happen. SOT looked like he was going to fall down there, stayed alive with the help of Vives and Adapting, who showed up to take down Bayro and Rongyu. Sunprod was able to escape with their life intact. Did also force the Aegis off of Adapting, so that relic being down, would like to see Unforgettable Dance get active and look for this jungler, but it is tough now. Those were important kills for 800 GPM and have got themselves a small gold advantage to their name, as well as tempo advantage. Some important relics down on the side of Unforgettable Dance. Aegis, beads for Baroneri, and Aegis off the side of Sunprod. So what can 800 GPM do? The answer is look for this right-hand side and look for Dishonored yet again.
But couldn't quite find him. No ult online for SOT to use to really dive in there. Rongyu might get punished here. Whirlpool looking to get him to safety. SOT still on the chase, though. Adapting is here, but looks like they're going to be moving their objective towards Baroneri, who does have the ult, but doesn't have any escape to get away from Adapting. But Rongyu here looking to help out his friend, as Baroneri doesn't want to lose his life for this tower, but the reinforcements will help to make sure that the tower does not fall. But Gold Fury coming up in just a moment here.
Yeah, we saw an attempt as well from the Duin onto the mid lane of Baroneri. Wasn't able to find the kill, but yeah, that is why that play is there. The 800 GPM play aggressive when there's an objective they want to fight over and when they want to contest. Gold Fury spawns. What did they force? They forced Dishonored's ultimate and his bead, so they won't have that before this next objective if the likes of the Soul Laner want to rotate over. This does mean SOT should have some pressure advantage here on the right-hand side. and then has the priority on the rotation if both solo laners decide to go for it. 800 GPM, though, they're going to take their time, though. They don't have to pull the objective in this moment. They're cool waiting for ultimates being backup on their side. Doduan now has that ultimate, has the Aegis as well. Adapting has the Aegis backup. Snod also having the Aegis. But look at this. Unforgettable Dance. They're around the Gold Fury, and they're looking to maybe pull it or look for a play here.
Wait a minute, Adapting, maybe looking to choke off Golden, and I don't know how this is going to unfold. Both teams know they need to be here, but neither team is sure how they want to start this. Unforgettable Dance is zoned out of the Gold Fury pit, and Vives is here looking to maybe zone out and continue that pressure on the Gold Fury as both teams tend to walk away. And as long as both teams know it's checked, right, it's warded, nobody's going for it, they feel okay to walk away and come back at a later date where they feel a little more comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at these compositions, who is really starting a fight? Speaking of starting a fight, Baron could get caught here, but no, we'll just walk away to safety. But who starts these fights? Especially for Unforgettable Dance, it's got to be the likes of Dishonored. You know, jumping in with the Eagles rally, that's probably the best initiation. Maybe Sunprod starting a fight with the ultimate, but probably not the best because then you're just forcing Aegis. Sunprod really wants to play as that secondary engage, look to go in after Aegis are forced and try to clean up some kills, but it's probably Dishonored. Maybe a River's Rebuke from Wrong You will be the start of a fight, as here's the ultimate coming out here from both supports.
River's Rebuke is out, does force Vives in an awful situation as he is taken down. Adapting, looking to get these oracles before he walks away. Whirlpool takes Baronary and Rongu forward, but Adapting can't be found just yet, which means it's Gold Fury time for Unforgettable Dance. Adapting doesn't pay any state of mind. Snodstar not even aware from what it looks like, but Adapting is back as the Gold Fury melts down, sitting at about 4,000 health. They're chipping away at it slowly but surely. Snodstar, Adapting are here. Sunprod might be getting choked out. Fear No Evil's out. Sunprod is dead. Sot finds a kill, but Gold Fury is taken away before the rest of 800 GPM can get there. Baronary is in trouble. He's going to leap over with the wind sprite. Sot's still chasing him down. He's able to find the slow. Baronary's in trouble. No reinforcements there to help him. Sot able to find the kill. Baronary is dead. And while 800 GPM might have found some kills, the Gold Fury still goes to Unforgettable Dance. More fighting happening in the jungle. Golden takes down Sot. The Sunbreaker locks him down. Dishonor pressing forward, but they found Sot. They walk away. They got a lot of reward out of that.
Well, it's a 1-for-1 after that, so that's something that goes the way of 800 GPM, but still, the Gold Fury going the way of Unforgettable Dance. Sunprod loses their life as well, but does a great job of just buying time for their team to commit to that objective, and they find it. That's a good play there, and it's a binary lead going the way of Unforgettable Dance, as Adapting is continuing to stack up these elementals, now at 18, I believe, and still in a really good position. I mean, this is... It's not all bad for 800 GPM. They still show signs of life. They've shown that they can get in there and really punish Baronary for being incredibly immobile. Has no dash on this Zeus, just a bit of movement speed on the 2, but just very easy to lock down this Zeus in the mid-late game after their relic is forced, as Pyromancer will be pulled here for Unforgettable Dance.
And Baronary is going to secure that. That's good news. You know what? I think there's a lot to love on each side. GPM have more kills. They've also got a whole lot more Firebrand stacks, as Tess has just pointed out. And there's more gold on the side of Unforgettable Dance. So there's like pluses to both sides. It's kind of hard to tell who's necessarily in the lead. I think it's going to take a couple more fights to really dictate who is dominating here. Life of the party's out. River's Rebuke in response, looking to save the life of Baronary, but Adapting around the corner with the Fear No Evil, and the Spirit Arrow connects and does massive damage. Baronary has only a couple hundred health to his name. Sunprod dives in looking for Vives. He's able to find him. In bad news, doing to taking down Sunprod, able to find a double, and just a tad bit late there to the party is Solo or Troll looking to chip away at Sunprod. He's able to find him. Wait a minute, Sot is going to dive and he's going to find the kill. Can he walk away alive? Maybe not. Very low on health. Baronary takes him down in the blink of an eye. 3 bodies dead for 800 GPM, and Unforgettable Dance walk away victorious.
I mean, that's exactly how Sunprod wants to play. He wants the members of 800 GPM to overcommit, to step and play to kill Baronary, forcing the CDs to kill the mid laner, and then going in as the counter engage, finds the likes of Vives, finds the likes of Doduan in that moment. It's just a great play from Sunprod on the Tsukiyomi, and that's exactly how you want to play that character. A great answer back, sure, from Sot to finally take down Sunprod under the tier 1 tower, but ultimately it's a victory for Unforgettable Dance. They come up with the kill lead and they take down the tier 1 in mid.
So here's where we're at here, folks. 15 and a half minutes in, Unforgettable Dance have a 5K gold lead, just a bit shy of that. And the kills are even, 7-7 on both sides. So looks like Unforgettable Dance have found a bit of footing. They might not look dominant, but they surely are in somewhat of a lead, right? They've got a tad bit more itemization over their opponents, and 800 GPM just can't seem to win these fights, right? They start a few, they get a pick here and there. But speaking of not winning fights here, Snotstar gets taken down. Golden is able to find the pick, and bad news again for 800 GPM as Unforgettable Dance can't seem to stop winning.
Golden has just been owning on this left-hand side, consistently pushing Snotstar under their tier 1 tower at this point. Every time Adapting has been over there, Golden will just back up to the safety of their own tower. Then the rest of the members of Unforgettable Dance will look for a play elsewhere on the map. But anytime Adapting has not been over here on this left-hand side, Golden has playing aggressive, looking to push down this tower and looking to take down the tier 1 tower.
And that tower is gone. 4 members of Unforgettable Dance by this Gold Fury. Doduin is getting chased away. They don't want to contest directly, but they maybe want to invade at the last second into the Gold Fury pit. Golden is doing a bit of zoning, putting more focus on the DPS now. Adapting walks up. Fear No Evil online. All 10 ults are online except for Sunbreaker from Golden. So 800 GPM might have an opportunity to jump in on this. Gold Fury getting taken down to 3K health. Adapting's around the corner looking for an engage. Sot's going to dive in on Sunprod, and the ult is forced out from Sun. He's going to dive in and take down Solo Patrol thanks to Baronary. The Gold Fury has been taken away by GPM. They found their first Fury of the game.
Well done.
They got what they wanted. They might have lost Sot, but they got the Gold Fury away from Unforgettable Dance. That's the exact way they wanted this to go down.
I was just going to say, of Unforgettable Dance, they're positioning like they're going to Pyro, but no, they're actually going to look for the Fire Giant here, and this is smart.
No.
800 GPM, they're on the way, though. You can see Snotstar TPing on over to this right-hand side. This objective is being pulled, and that's because Sot is dead, but there's the engage coming through from Unforgettable Dance.
Sunprod looking for something on Veeves. Life of the party is out. Does find the Sun. The Aegis in response. Spirit Arrow backflip does decent damage. Sunprod is in trouble. Wardweaver's out looking for the stun, but the Fire Giant still getting melted down. Orangu is able to secure it. Adapting couldn't quite find a way in. And 800 GPM need to retreat now before Unforgettable Dance collect themselves together and collapse on somebody. But instead, they're going to focus on that Pyromancer before somebody hits the pause button.
All right, we could take a moment to breathe here real quick. I mean, look, Adapting and Sot, they played that perfectly. They forced the members of Unforgettable Dance back. That allows the remaining carries and Veeves to tank the objective, tank the Gold Fury, and take it. Problem is they lose Sot in the process, and Unforgettable Dance do the right thing. They go straight towards the Fire Giant. They have 2 members zone, and they play it perfectly. That secures them that objective with the man advantage. And that's going to net them a Pyromancer as well. The gold lead going the way of Unforgettable Dance, and they're in a really good spot right now.
So let's talk about game state, right? They just took away a Fire Giant. They just grabbed a Pyromancer as well. They're up on kills, up on gold. The only thing they're missing is a bit of help from the Firebrands, but they don't really need that right now. They've got everything else in their favor, right? So how do we go from this winning advantageous position to killing the enemy Titan?
At this point, I think it's just grouping. It's playing the map a little bit better than 800 GPM. 800 GPM, they want to split a little bit more. They want to force maybe a tier 1 tower and right and look to play towards the objectives and just get a little bit of gold to their name. Unforgettable Dance, they can force a Phoenix siege at this point. They could push down left-hand side. They probably want to group and do exactly that. If members are split pushing, bomb rush the Phoenix. Go take it. We have a Pyromancer bomb to our name. Let's go take these objectives. Let's force 800 GPM to fight us because we have a lead. Playing with confidence will be so important for this Unforgettable Dance team now that they're in this game state.
So on the other side of things, if we're 800 GPM and we want to get back into this game, right? Because we might have snuck away a Gold Fury. That's one more token for us. That's good news. But there's now a Fire Giant against us. There's a Pyromancer. They've got a bomb in pocket ready to go. There's a Fire Giant dagger that we got to work through. Are we just looking to wait out the Fire Giant? Do we need to do something quick? Or I don't know. I guess we're going to find out when we get back because we do have some technical difficulties. We're going to take a quick break, but we will be right back. So don't go anywhere. All right, everybody, we are back, and the Pyromancer is taken away. Didn't we just see this? Is this a flashback? How far back did this go? Did the Pyromancer respawn over the break? I guess it's taken down again. Another Pyro Bomb in pocket for Unforgettable Dance.
We see it the third time, we're in trouble.
It's like that South Park episode, is what I'm thinking of. But no worries about South Park. We're worried about the game right here, right now, as Unforgettable Dance are back. They are pressing forward, and just like you said before the break, they're playing with confidence as the Tier 2 tower falls, and the Phoenix is next on the chopping block, doing a great job of zoning. Snotstar wants to push them away, and I guess he did a great job because, look, there they go. V's presses forward, maybe looking to take down one of them. A pick could be massive here for 800 GPM, but I don't see it happening.
No, they're not going to get it. An Unforgettable Dance, they play that perfectly. They push down mid. They force the members of 800 GPM to back off, stop split pushing, stop getting farm on the map, come defend your bird, or we're going to take it. And so Unforgettable Dance, there's probably no way they actually take that bird unless if the members of 800 GPM back. They're not going to overforce it. They're just going to back to base because they haven't actually spent a lot of this gold that they just got just yet. So they're actually going to take their time now. They push down. They got the tier 2. They're going to take their time, reset, get these important items that they need. Titan's Bane going to be completed here for Golden. Tome of Death and a Rada Tahuti for Baronary online here. So this Zeus is swinging now at this point. So Unforgettable Dance, they're in a good spot with their characters. And now all it needs to do is translate to the important objectives, the map state victories. The Phoenix is going down to give pressure for the next Fire Giant if it goes that far. If not, an outright wipe to win the game.
You know what I just noticed too that I wish I would have commented on earlier is that Bologna's in this game. Eye of Providence is a big one too, but Bologna's in this game with no aspect, none at all. I feel like Bologna aspect was just like the way to play, and it's kind of wild to see that's not the case here.
I like it here. I think the problem with the Bologna we saw last game is the lack of lane presence, and I think going towards more of this damage style as Unforgettable Dance, they're here, they're going to take this bird. No response from 800 GPM just yet.
Bird is down. A couple members of 800 GPM forced to go back to base, but they couldn't make it back before the Phoenix falls. That is one down, and maybe Unforgettable Dance goes for the mid bird after this?
I mean, maybe. They might take their time. Some prods over here on this right-hand side, adapting also hovering around the right-hand side, but not going to look to fight some prod just yet. Might still go for the 1v1. This is going to be interesting here between these two. As V's is on the way.
Sunprod fast as hell for no reason. The Wood Weaver's out, followed by the Fear No Evil. Beats forced away from Sunprod. He's going to ult in. He wants to take a look at adapting, and Aegis is forced out from adapting, but around the corner, Life of the Party locking down Sunprod, does good damage, force him under the tower, and Sunprod with just a tad bit of health to his name. Adapting somersaults in and takes down Sunprod. But meanwhile, in the middle lane, the fight continues as one body falls. Deduin is dead. Snotstar as well. Unforgettable Dance now press forward as adapting isn't there. Sot and Vibes can't defend this themselves, and the Titans getting chipped away at 4 members. The Sunprod is dead. A Baronary takes down Sot. 2 bodies left for 800 GPM to defend this Titan, but they can't do so. The Titan falls, and Unforgettable Dance make their way to the finals.
Sunprod dies, but at what cost? V's has to rotate over. Adapting has to commit the ultimate, the Aegis, so they're not there to defend against the Titan push from Unforgettable Dance. Great play, great shot calling, and great map pressure. Sunprod goes to the right-hand side and says, look at me, look at me. And then the rest of the 800 GPM, they're not ready for it. They can't defend their base. They can't defend their Titan room. And the victory goes the way of Unforgettable Dance. Great play by them.
We know that it worked, but how well did it work? We'll take a look at the exact details when we come back from a break. But finals is next. The grand finals of week 3 are on the way, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few. Hello, everybody, and we are back with the September circuit of Smite Prime. We are live on Smite Prime and Smite Game. This is Morty on the mic. We've got Testai and General Jithens behind the scenes making all this happen for us. And next to me here in the booth is none other than Spirited Book. How we feeling, big dog?
Pretty good, especially after that last game. I mean, it's looking pretty good here for Unforgettable Dance. They played lights out. Bit of a competition in the early mid game. I think we'd argue is pretty competitive, and then just the right calls. In all honesty, the right shot calls from Unforgettable Dance. They made the gold call, and then they lost out on the gold, but they got a clean pick. And then right towards that fire giant, just playing with confidence. It gets you so far in competitive when you play with confidence. It's just nets you objectives. You make the risky call. You 50-50 a fire giant or a gold fury, and it gets you the victory. And that's exactly what Unforgettable Dance did. They just made the right calls in the right moments that they needed to.
I think I want to make something apparent here. We talk a lot about, who are the best carries in Smite Prime, right? Who are the best supports? And you could argue, okay, maybe Donut Doug, a tad bit better than Golden in some ways. Notstar, maybe a tad bit better, right? Or maybe Aurora could be better than Rongu. We can have these conversations, but I want to say, I think the best duo lane combo together in Smite Prime is Rongu and Golden. These two guys have been working together for quite some time. I've been casting for a minute. I follow these people, right? Rongu and Golden have been inseparable for some time, and that chemistry has coagulated together in such a fashion that here they are on the grand stage of the finals about to do some work. And dude, Golden, Rongu together have made such a name for themselves. Rongu was pulling out plays during that last game. Those Rivers Rebukes, the whirlpools in response were on point. Golden was feeling himself in some of these 1v1s against Notstar, just completely murking him in some occasions. I mean, it is awesome to see what they've pulled off, and it's gotten them to the point where these are the power hitters going into the finals of Smite Prime. That is something to brag about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, look, that duo lane is the one that got the first blood. We saw it. Rongu making plays, Golden following up. I completely agree. Just phenomenal performance for them.
And the finals are up next, but let's see how we got here. How do we get to this point of the circuit? Here we are. Unforgettable Dance, formerly known as Baile Inolvidable versus Clocked In. Amazing matchup here, and no better in the finals where we get a best of 3 out of this.
Yeah, this should be a good one between Unforgettable Dance and Clocked In. Clocked In, arguably an easier run than, say, Unforgettable Dance, who had to play against, Adapting and co, but having to take on Smite 2 bad boys is no easy task, and they come out on top. It'll be a best of 3 between these two teams. And always, I love to see the little change-ups between the games in the picks and bans.
Yeah, this is, and I love that we see some unfamiliar faces on the selects, right? The picks and bans sometimes look a little different depending on who's playing against who and who's in meta right now. But we've seen some crazy picks today so far. Mordred from Sot, incredible. Great pick. We saw that earlier. John Rowing on the Geb. Unpredictable. I'm not going to say efficient, but unpredictable. It definitely kept them on their toes, right? I love to see that. And what we're going to see in the finals is really going to decide, okay, who was played in the finals, right? These are high stakes that we're up against. I mean, keep in mind, we're playing for a potential $7,000 cash prizing and 125,000 diamonds. This isn't, the winning game here. This isn't going to give that cash today, but it certifies who will be here next week in the closed bracket.
I was going to say, we're getting closer and closer to the closed bracket next week. So, I mean, look, this is important times to get those points, to get higher seeding as much as possible. And so both these two teams will likely be vying for the victory. And there it is. There's the prizing, and there is all the lovely diamonds you can get. Because again, Artemis skin coming out next week. That is what I would be spending my diamonds on. I don't know about you, Mort.
I tell you what, I'm not going to be spending my diamonds on, and it's that Scylla skin, because I think it's good and all, but like, why do we have the trash goblin up like right next to like the grand prize? Like, you would want to be showing off, like, I think when they had Danzaburo with all the money bags, that made more sense, right? We had, like, come on, we're not picking a trash here. We're talking about $7,000. This is the grand prize.
Look how excited she is. Look how excited she is.
True.
Look how excited her little possums are. They're just like in awe, like, oh, look at this lovely prizing. She's thinking about how much she can spend in terms of diamonds as well.
She's like, you made a good point.
Maybe I can get that skin. Yeah, what would Trash Goblin Scylla, like, what skin do you think she would save up for with these diamonds?
She is the skin. I don't know. I mean, I guess I wouldn't
save up for her
buy my own skin. More Scylla skins in Smite 2. Oh yeah, we've got this too. The MVP trophy that can be awarded next week. That's huge. This is a new thing that has been around for only a couple months so far. But who can get, again, another hammer? We talked about how Adapting has a couple of those that don't look exactly like this. Sunprod's got one so far. Who is going to be our next trophy winner?
I don't know. We'll have to find out. I'm hoping it would be really cool if Adapting could win another trophy. Oh yeah, and also our new title that's going to be coming into Smite Game. If you win the total prizing and win next week, you will get this awesome, cool little title, the Smite Prime Champion title. And then you can show it off in ranked. And anytime you want to flex on someone, say, "Hey, look, I have this title. Do you have this title?" I don't think so.
Can you imagine seeing that in your rank game? Smite Prime Champion, and you're like, oh crap. Like, we're screwed.
How am I going to talk
that...
trash? How am I going to talk trash now if this guy has a Smite Prime Champion title?
How do I talk mess to somebody who won Smite Prime? How do I even like begin to form that thought? like, yeah, you're playing this game on your downtime. I just won $7,000 last week, so good hats to you, I guess. That's funny. That's great, man. But here we are in Picks and Bans, the finals. This is a best of 3 set. Keep in mind, this will be game 1 between Unforgettable Dance and this is so great. I cannot believe we're here clocked in. Our first time watching them today up against Unforgettable Dance.
Yep.
I'm excited for this one, man.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Clocked In have really been prioritizing today. We haven't gotten to see them just yet, so I'm excited to see what it is they will be prioritizing. The Artemis ban first overall. I know Golden loves Artemis, don't get me wrong, but I'm surprised this is what we're banning overall in terms of everything. Maybe it's just that Clocked In want to prioritize the Hui Yi instead, though with Hydrogen on the team, I would imagine Jingwei is going to be the priority here for this team.
Yeah, Hydra does love that Jing Wei, and or Ares is banned away, very high priority support pick, and Happen and Rongyu. I mean, these are some high level supports here, so let's get that knocked out. Adney to join the list. A lot of very promising bans so far, but one I don't see yet is Scylla.
No, but I'm not sure. I think Happen plays quite a bit of Scylla. I'm not entirely sold if Rongyu has been playing it as of late. That might be something not in his wheelhouse. There's the Hui Yi ban. Jingwei is still on the table here, and does the likes of Unforgettable Dance give up that Scylla? If Rongyu isn't one to play it, Clocked In don't have to first lock it. They could wait till the second and third pick before locking the Scylla support and prioritize something else. Aladdin is still on the table as well, so could maybe see that. Tsukiyomi for Sunprod, if he wants to run that back, is still available. There's a lot open on the table right now.
I think that's one I didn't talk about earlier either. I talked about how amazing the dual lane combo of Rongyu and Golden is. We already know that Baron Airy, a phenomenal mid laner. That's why he's here playing against Paul, right? Dishonored, great solo laner. But the fact that they now have Sunprod joining the team, Sunprod, a new addition to who's now known as Unforgettable Dance, a very promising jungler. I mean, if I could count on my fingers how many times Sunprod has been glazed on a Smite Prime broadcast, I would be probably owning more than our cash prizing. Sunprod is the GOAT here. But Tegvir on the other side, definitely a worthy contestant. Paul, Happen, Hydrogen, Karmic, these are the hard hitters. We talk about, Smite Prime having the best players. These are the best of the best players.
Yeah, for sure. And Tegvir Susano available. So could be the angle that they decide to look for. Clocked In do lock in Jingwei first overall, and that is no real surprise. Hydrogen is on the team. My question is going to be, are they going to do what they did last time, where Hydrogen goes into the jungle and just power farms on the Jingwei for a bit, and Tegvir maybe takes the Susano into the dual lane for, a couple levels before they start rotating out? Unforgettable Dance, they respond with the Merlin and the Wukong. Wukong we've been seeing banned consistently. This unkillable poke god from a distance is just going to be a real menace to Clocked In if they don't have the right amount of lockdown. And speaking of lockdown, and you asked for it before any god was taken or, the final bans went through, Scylla is the hover and likely the lock-in here for Happen.
That it is. Scylla in response to the Merlin and the Wukong. And I feel like Merlin was a pick that was prioritized because Paul's very comfortable on the Merlin. We've seen Paul on Merlin in these Smite Prime games pretty often. So let's take that away from him, make him a little bit more uncomfortable. I think he's pretty fine on Ullr. I feel like this is going to go towards Paul, and we still get a regular traditional carry. I think this is going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, Paul is disgusting on Ullr for sure. He's pretty good on that character for sure. My question is going to be, if Clocked In do have the Ullr mid, they have the Jingwei ADC, and they decide to go for the Susano jungle or just a traditional assassin jungler, where is the magical damage going to come from? Is there going to be a Guardian solo? Is there? You're giving me a look. Is it Medusa? Medusa's locked in. Ymir's locked in. You big Medusa fan?
Medusa's here? What is Medusa doing here? We're in the finals of Smite Prime. This god hasn't even played in ranked. What is going on?
Hold everything. We were wrong. Again. Why would we be correct? Why would Paul take Ullr when he could just play Hecate?
Oh, yeah. I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Next time.
Hydrogen's just... Wait a minute. Who's...
Okay.
What is this comp here? Is this...
Tsukiyomi solo, Ullr jungle, Hecate mid, Jingwei ADC, solo support. Simply put.
Okay. You made sense out of that way faster than I could have. I would have just stared there for minutes at a time, just wondering what's going on here. Mercury getting locked in for Unforgettable Dance.
Like
Sunprod surely going to use this one. And I feel like
Oh.
Wait a minute.
This just in. We've been lied to. It's Rama. This whole time, you got bait and switched more. It's Rama. And Golden's going to be dropping the Rama. He's going to be dropping the snipes.
I guess that makes more sense. I slept on Rom for a long time as well, and to see him get locked in here is he's good. I'm not gonna call him the best. I think he's better than Medusa. So okay, now we're looking. It looks like a little more interesting of a game rather than Medusa.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a lot of AA on the side of Unforgettable Dance. They decide to go for the Rama, the late game hyper carry. Decent clear though in the lane. That's something that I think is kind of underlooked right now on Rama, is just how much pressure that character actually has in the lane right now. And paired with the Ymir, it's just, that's a free lane for them. What's so important about Unforgettable Dance as a whole is their draft. They have so much pressure everywhere except their jungle, and that's okay because you want this Mercury to scale.
Let's see how far he can scale. Let's see how this game goes entirely as we dive into this game. Clocked In versus Unforgettable Dance in the grand finals of Week 3 circuit. This is Morty. If you just now tuned in, Book is next to me here in the booth. We've got Testai and Jithens behind the scenes making things happen for us now as we are diving into this game. Gods in their places. Everybody's lined up. Tagveer on Ullr in the jungle. What is going on?
Yeah, first thing I wanted to notice is, did Clocked In and Hydrogen specifically build the Boomba's Dagger? He did not, so he's going to be playing in the duo lane. Tagveer will be piloting the Ullr jungle. I mean, it's just early pressure, a character that's very strong at 1v1ing, and so Tagveer is going to look to probably farm a little bit till first, second item, maybe look to scrap a little bit, and that's what's so great about this Clocked In 2v2 is it's scrappy. Hecate does want to scale, sure, but she can scrap. She's got the Mez. She's got the one that can just continue to deal damage and allow Tagveer to do tons of damage in the 2v2. Versus across the way, Unforgettable Dance, the Merlin can get scrappy, but Sunprod doesn't really want to do that. Sunprod wants to farm for 2 or 3 items, get the rage stacks online, split push and take towers, take the Gold Furies and solo kills them, take a Naga so they can go split push a little bit better, take a Pyromancer so they again can go split push a little better. This is the game plan for Unforgettable Dance. At the same time, Sunprod, if they get to late game, they will one-shot the backliners of Clocked In.
So my biggest question here, Rongu on Ymir, Golden on Rama, how does this lane unfold? What is with these two picks? Why are they here?
So I think the idea behind the Mercury is it does want to scale. It wants to get to late game. And we kind of mentioned it briefly on picks and bans. To get to late game, you need pressure elsewhere. So that's why these two side lanes are pretty strong. The Ymir Rama is just, it's pressure. It's easy to push with. And you can see they're pushed up past the halfway mark of the lane. And this is probably where they're going to sit for most of the laning phase at this point. They want to be in this position where if their jungler can rotate over with some pressure, they'll rotate to try and invade a purple buff or 2. They want the neutral camp as much as possible because they just want to make Sunprod's life easier in the jungle, especially at this stage of the game where Mercury is at his weak point. You want to be farming for the first item Rage, as we see Sunprod look to invade, but can't find any farm because Tagveer's already done it. So Sunprod just going to take his time. I also wouldn't be surprised. We saw last game, Sunprod paid a lot of attention to side lanes, specifically duo. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Sunprod just sit in mid for a while and just soak farm. Just try to get to that level 5 as soon as possible. Be active in towards the mid game rather than this early game, and just take it easy. Farm some items, soak some farm, get to the mid late game, and then hyper carry.
So we see Karmic with Tsukiyomi here in the solo lane. Do you think that Karmic's going to go for a tankier Suki build, or do you think this is going to be our general full strength, just shred health bars?
I'm not entirely sold on Tsukiyomi. Personally, I'm actually a big fan of Tsukiyomi mid. I'm surprised we haven't seen much of that. We're seeing more of him in the jungle, but he can fit into this solo lane, as we'll see a potential look here from the Tsukiyomi and Tegvir.
Tegvir diving in. He doesn't want to dive under the tower, but he shows face and does good damage. Dishonor has 100 health to his name. The clone definitely helps save his life, as Tegvir put a little more damage on top of the clone, but that's a-okay. Dishonored's alive. Tegvir didn't invest too much into that other than showing face, as he's around the firebrands waiting for them to respawn, but Sunprod shows up there as well.
I wonder if this build that Karmic is going to go for is going to be a lifesteal build if he goes straight into the Devourer's Gauntlet, because Tsukiyomi is a hybrid scaler. He might go towards the Devos and lifesteal build and then look to scale off of these elementals as much as possible. Get as many Devo stacks as you can in this early laning phase.
That's a good point. Something I've completely forgot to even, think about was Tsukiyomi can go int. He can go intelligence, and he can scale through the lifesteal. And we're not using the aspect right here, right now, and that definitely changes how things go. But even without aspect, there's some potential there. Maybe a life binder to get somewhat tanky, but also get some health back. Or maybe we just go straight into the lifesteal. Like you said, the Barb Carver could be an investment there. There's a lot of lifesteal items that really Tsukiyomi could benefit from.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Devos, the Barbed Carver, like you mentioned, the Umbral is really good. Sanguine Lash, you're just getting in there anyways. The question for me, when it comes to the conversation of do I go into Tsukiyomi or strength Tsukiyomi, I think the question is, what is your role in the team? And Tsukiyomi is going to want to get in there and use that stun more than get off damage, I would imagine. So when you go towards the int, you lose that stun off the 2. So I would imagine it's going to be more of a lifesteal strength leaning build more than anything. But he will still scale off of the intelligence granted by those elementals, making his abilities just hit a little harder. I wouldn't be surprised to see heavy priority from the side with the Tsukiyomi to look towards those objectives in particular.
Well, we're awaiting some technical issues that have went down and caused us to get to this point here where you're looking at me and Book instead of an awesome game of Smite 2. But it's all right. We're working on things, and look how I said we're working on things, and there they are. They worked. We're back. We're in game here as Tegvir and Paul sit around these Firebrand pit, also known as the Fire Giant pit. Sunprod realizes, hey, maybe I'll just help out with blue buff, and we'll come back here later.
Yeah, I mean, across the way, Unforgettable Dance, their Soul Laner also has decent hybrid scaling. The Wukong does hybrid scale decently well as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Unforgettable Dance give a couple of these elementals at this stage of the game. We talked about it. Sunprod wants to power farm, and sure enough, Clocked In will secure the first round of those elementals and likely just dump them all into the Tsukiyomi in this early stage. But, I mean, I'm not sure if it necessarily matters, honestly. Unforgettable Dance, they do want to scale. So why are we going to take these early contested fights? Let's just take our time, farm it out, get an item or two, and then look to make plays, because this team has so much playmaking potential. You have the Mercury that ults from across the map and can just ult down a lane onto a carry, force a relic. You have the Ymir walls. We saw in game number 1 how important those Ymir walls were to just set up plays in the jungle, in the laning phases. So, I mean, there's just so much playmaking potential from Unforgettable Dance. They can afford to take their time.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, they definitely need to wait this one out, right? They need to play this game a tad bit slower. That way they can just focus on farming, get farm here and there, and try and get to that end game stage where Unforgettable Dance succeed the most. As Paul walks forward into the enemy jungle looking for something. Frost Breath does maybe look for a stun here. Happen is a tad bit low on health. Golden looking for some damage to follow up with, but nothing here so far. Hydro's going to dash in and maybe look to take this neutral camp away, but it's going to go towards Unforgettable Dance. A lot of potential skirmishes here. It's kind of hard to tell what I should be talking about.
Yeah, I thought Sunprod and Tegvir were kind of dancing around each other in the jungle there for a second, but no, Sunprod's just going to walk away and secure his own farm. Hits level 6. Oh, left-hand side. Happen does get their back off to base and will take their time. Again, this is just such an important time of the game for both these two teams to just take their time, not throw the game. Hold that thought. Unforgettable Dance, they're going to pull an early Gold Fury.
Gold Fury sitting at about 1,000 health. Tegvir looking for maybe a way in. Sunprod is going to secure it for Unforgettable Dance. That's a huge pull going forward. Paul looking for maybe some revenge, but the Wind Sprite does take Baronary to safety. They can't find much else other than an out-of-position Rongyu, who does get taken down by I'm a Monster, and Paul is able to find the final touch of death for first blood over this Gold Fury.
Happens, stepping in the way of Rongyu, not allowing him to step by, and so Rongyu will take a spill, but the Gold Fury goes the way of Unforgettable Dance, and we were just kind of saying, look, they're gonna take their time. They're not gonna force anything crazy. No, of course they're gonna do something crazy. It's Unforgettable Dance. It's Sunprod. It's Bayro. It's Golden. They are the team that will just force stuff in front of you. They didn't even have Sunder available, and they still coin flipped against an Ullr who has some of the best secure in the game with the combo, the 3-1. They still came out on top. Thanks to Sunprod secure, as left-hand side, we'll see Golden just take a bit of poke here to Happen, who's still hanging around over here. Meanwhile, look at this. Ymir hanging out in the mid lane now.
This is an interesting pickup from Happen, the Life Binder. Usually we see a Yogi's or maybe a Breastplate, but Life Binder is an interesting investment. What do we love about Life Binder?
A bit of extra damage, and it grants your allies a shield. You know, Scylla has a root for Peel, but she doesn't have the most CC as Baronary. Could be in trouble to Paul, but Paul just throws out the open the gates and steps away to safety.
Huh. I feel like he knew that Sunprod was there, but couldn't really make something happen. Or force out from Hydro. Maybe Golden dashes in. Good stun from Rongyu. Looking to lock down Hydro. Massive damage from the Frostbite basics. Does do a lot to Hydro, but he's able to find safety under the tier 1 tower.
Rongyu was trying to hold the wall as long as possible, trying to catch the dash from Hydrogen, but Hydrogen just plays it a little bit better, holding the wall, holding the dash as long as possible, waiting for that wall to come through. He's able to dash away to safety because yes, Jingwei is still the safest hunter in the game right now. As look at this 3-man grouping here in mid from Clocked In. They're looking to make a play here onto Sunprod and Bayro, but they can't find it. They do steal the Naga though from them.
Wait. But I just noticed that's a Scylla with no aspect, as there's a fight happening here. And I didn't mean to pitch something crazy like that onto you, as Dishonored jumps in looking for a piece of Karmic, but sits down at a couple hundred health. No fight unfolding there. Did he forget the aspect, or is this intentional?
He must have. There's no way you forget, you intentionally run no aspect Scylla support. I feel like that's just not intentional at all. That must have been a mistake from happening. That is, I'm trying to think of how this shapes things out for Clocked In all of a sudden. They're kind of in yeah, I'm not sure what's worse. That one lone little guy being left there all on his own. Or
Did
the
these
no
expire?
aspect.
Let's keep the camera here the entire time until it expires. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
That was a bad idea. I'm sorry. I was just spitballing. Wait a minute. Here comes Sunprod. He's going to ult in, trying to get a piece of Hydro, but Hydro dashes on back. Does not want to get caught out here, and I cannot blame him. Around the corner is Happen. Does get ice walled off. Happens looking for a piece, though. Sunprod still on the left side, but here comes Paul and Tegvir. They're going to be a tad too late, though.
Karmic.
Maybe they show up to Gold Fury instead. Wait a minute. Karmic comes in from solo. I'm a Monster looking for Ymir instead. Could have swore that Golden was way lower on health, but all 5 members of Clocked In around this Gold Fury pit. It should be up in just a moment.
Yeah, Unforgettable Dance. They get out with their lives, and they'll play a little defensive here on this left-hand side. Meanwhile, Clocked In, they're trying to get active here, but it's so difficult. Their lockdown CC is not the best outside of, say, Happen's root, and it's as soon as that's off the mark, it's a lot harder for them to hard engage onto the likes of the Unforgettable Dance team. But yeah, going back to the Scylla aspect, I'm trying to think of how this shapes things out. Maybe Happen leans a little more on some damage items rather than being a true tank, as well as having damage from the aspect passive. Mm-hmm. So we will have to keep an eye on his build, because I'm not quite sure what's going to happen as we see a bit of a potential lane swap. No, Jingwei's on our way back left, and Karmic will likely back to base and TP on over to the right-hand side.
And Gold Fury looks like it's getting chipped away at. Yes, it is. Tegvir getting that initial damage off, and Happens doing a bit of zoning as Rongu is here looking to interrupt what's going on at that Gold Fury pit. But looks like it's still getting chipped away at. Open the Gates is out, and Happens able to secure that 4 o'clock in. Now 1 Gold Fury token on each side. Kind of evens things out here at the 10-minute mark where there's only 1 kill in the game so far. Can you imagine? How were we here? 1 kill in 10 minutes?
It's just the compositions. The idea behind the comps are just we have to scale a little bit. It's not forever. We just have to scale a little bit, get some important items. So that's why the game pace has been so slow. That being said, we've seen multiple attempts at looking for plays. You know, Rongu on the left-hand side, forcing Hydrogen to play really defensive and ult and dash away under his tower. Again, another look there from Sunprod, but I think at some point we got to stop paying attention to this left-hand side of the Jingwei and look for other angles because Jingwei is just so safe over here. Maybe looking to shut down this Tsukiyomi. Karmic sitting at 2 items now. The Sanguine Lash and Devo's online. And the Devo stacks 67 to the 66 of Dishonored. Pretty evenly split. But as the game goes on and the elementals continue to be prioritized by Clocked In, don't be surprised if Karmic suddenly has 90-something stacks to Dishonored's 80-something stacks.
So this kind of answers the question that I had earlier about, is this going to be a tankier Karmic Tsukiyomi, or is this going to be like a squishier? You mentioned Life Steal as well. I think, so we get a little bit of Life Steal with Devos. We also get a bit of tankiness with Sanguine Lash, which is still a prominent item. It kind of answers things as where we're going to see the Tsukiyomi in their position in team fights. Pyro getting taken down by Unforgettable Dance, and it looks like they're going to take it away. No, Happen steals it. Happen walked in, took it, and then walked away unscathed, untouched. Unforgettable Dance can't seem to do anything about it. Huge.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a clean takeaway, and I believe the Sunder was on cooldown there, so I think he stole it with the 2, if I'm not mistaken, as Nagi will now be prioritized by Tegvir on this left-hand side. I mean, what a play from Happen.
Dude, oh, that is just like a mental, it's a dopamine hit that you just cannot get any other way. The levels of dopamine that Happen is probably going through right now, I mean, he probably needs to step away from his keyboard, dude. I would just make me overstimulated. Dude, that is such a crazy hit there. It's Happen, sits around middle lane, waiting for Paul to walk back up, and then maybe we make something happen there as Hydro's looking low on health on the left side. Tegvir walks up and takes him down. Golden is dead. What a great reinforcement there from Tegvir.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Hydro kind of walked forward towards the bush camp that Golden was sitting in. Rongu came in a little later saying, hey, it's just a 1v1, right? And then it wasn't. And then Tegvir showed up and said, no, you're right. It's a 2v2. I'm here as well. Comes out on top for their team. That's 2 kills now to Clocked In. And they're still sitting with around a 3,000 gold lead as Sunprod going to get rooted up here. The rest of the team on the way hunting this Mercury.
But Sunprod's going to sit under tower. He doesn't have any help here. I think that he's playing the smart thing, right? Just sit here and we'll wait for a good fight later on. This just isn't my time right now. But whose time it is Karmic. It's Karmic's time to dominate and take down Dishonored under his own tower. This Tsukiyomi solo is looking pretty spectacular.
The power of Sanguine Lash. I mean, Karmic going for it, even though it still, I believe, gives magical protections in a matchup. Oh, look at this Sunprod on the way. Look at a counter gank. Forces the shell and is going to take down Karmic as an answer. Unforgettable Dance on the board with their first kill of the game.
You know what people forget about Mercury too is that not only does he hit like a truck, but he's as fast as one too, and he's got seconds of hard CC. You go from being dizzied up and stunned right there to then another stun from Mercury. There's just like so much lockdown that he has, so much damage, so much mobility. Sunprod's going to be an issue this game.
Yeah, for sure. And the true like Mercury tech that we see quite a bit is the dash onto a target and then instantly canceling the dash, throwing them in a direction, preferably against a wall, as we'll see. Open the Gates come out here, a team fight coming up between these two teams.
Monsters out, not barely off the mark. Baroneri doesn't get hit though. Happen is in trouble all by himself. He does get chipped away and taken down by Unforgettable Dance there. Bad news for Happen. Clocked In are down 1 man, and the Gold Fury is looking pretty nice for Unforgettable Dance, but somebody's seen to back up. Karmic takes down Sunprod on the right side. Sunprod, you thought you could try him again? Karmic's got spectral armor this time.
I was just going to say, I feel like Sunprod on the right-hand side was a nice call, but I think he goes for the 1v1 and just gets caught out. Speaking of getting caught out, Tegvier taking a ton of damage there. But Dishonored still hanging around this left-hand side means this Unforgettable Dance team wants to be prioritizing towards this Gold Fury. But clocked in. They're around the area as well as Paul gets frozen in mid, gets his beads for.
Beads is down. Frostbreath is as well. Tegvier waltzes in, looking to take advantage of Rongyu, and that he does. Dishonored's here, but what more can he do? The Open the Gates is out, does force the ult from Dishonored, and he's sitting in the clouds, getting his health back and waiting for an engagement, but instead he plays it safe, heads back, and clocked in, yet again, have an opportunity for this Gold Fury.
Karmic is eating on this right-hand side. 79 stacks now on the Tsukiyomi. Level 16. He is going to be a problem here for Unforgettable Dance to deal with. Using that ultimate, taking the 1v1, or sorry, 3v1 against Sunprod and co.
Can Karmic walk out alive? He is getting taken down. The damage is just too much for Karmic to handle. Sunprod takes him down, but on the other side of the map, that's an ult. Wait a minute, was that a steal? Yes, it was. Golden took that Gold Fury away. The snipes are on point. The Chris Kyle of Smite Prime. Golden takes him down. Amazing stuff. That is another step in the right direction for Unforgettable Dance as they slowly creep and crawl their way back into this game.
Happen walked away looking for the zone potential. He was the only real body that could zone out of the 4 members are in the area. And that's the member with Sunder. That's your secure right there. And Golden just rolls the dice and comes out on top. Snatches that one away with the final shot, the one that does the most damage. And that's a big win for Unforgettable Dance. I was trying to think about earlier how, you know, the second goal that Clocked In took was quite big, and it would have been bigger if Unforgettable Dance didn't take the first one. Now they've gotten the second one, and they didn't lose members for it. In fact, they killed Karmic for it, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just suddenly a lead that's even. Like they were up 2,000 gold Clocked In, and now it's even. And Unforgettable Dance, they scale really well. We've been talking about it. Clocked In, they're on the clock. No pun intended. Mercury will scale. Mercury will one-shot in the late game. So the longer this goes, the tougher it's going to be for Clocked In to win this game.
This is a fun spot to be in. Just when you think Clocked In is in control, Unforgettable Dance have something up their sleeve, and I'm starting to see the value in Golden's Rama now, because look at what he's capable of. Just nabbing objectives like that as Happen steps up just a tad too far. Ice Wall did block him off, but Happen's got the dash to get over that wall, or under, should I say, and he finds safety as 3 members of each team are sitting near the middle lane. Sunprod walks away looking for these oracles to gain a little more XP in his pockets, and we're back to the farming game.
Nice ultimate there from Rongyu to avoid the open the gates from Paul. If he was getting pulled there, he was likely dead. So another great ultimate used there. As let's see Sunprod hunting here on this left side, looking for hydrogen. Again, I liked the play, looking for Karmic on the right. I don't like Sunprod here on the left. There's nothing for him to really farm outside of the back camps. Maybe splitting a midwave might be a little more beneficial at this stage of the game, though. I mean, look at this. Bayernary has a level lead over Paul, but am I even out now that the Pyromancer is being pulled?
Pyromancer down to half health, but Clocked In drop it because Unforgettable Dance are here, and Clocked In can't just take it away in front of their eyes, because even as Happen has stolen away that Pyro before, Unforgettable Dance have the same opportunity because there is a Sunder online from Rongyu. If he could just rocket jump in with an Ice Wall, that Pyro would be theirs. But the opportunity isn't there just yet as Clocked In drop it. And now go back to this interesting, song and dance we have of standing around and waiting for a potential engage.
Yep, we're just going to take our time, wait for the next objective to be pulled. And I really do like the spot that Unforgettable Dance are in. The Mercury has 3 items completed, working on that Titan's Bane next here, and is just going to do a ton of damage. He's down a level compared to Tegvier, and Tegvier's done a good job farming so far. 1-0 and 2 on the Uller, and for an Uller, it's been a slow-paced game, and that's kind of where Ullers struggle. You want more of a scrappy team fighting game, but the rest of the team kind of wants to chill a little bit. The Hekate wants to farm just a little bit more, as Rongyu has Sunder and is looking to steal this objective. Hasn't been spotted yet either.
Here he is. Around the corner, Frost Breaths out, does stun 2, and the Pyromancer still is aggroed. It's down to 2,000 health. Paul's around the corner. The Pyro is picked up by Unforgettable Dance. Can they secure it away? But there goes Hydro. Sunprod is going to pick that up for Unforgettable Dance. But Dishonor is in trouble. Dishonor is forced to ult out. Hydro chasing down Baronary on the other side. Open the gates is here. It does connect onto Rongu, and Tegvir finds the final touch of death. 2 bodies down for Unforgettable Dance, but they do have a Pyro Bomb in pocket. Bit of an even trade, more or less.
Happen being too low and Dishonored being in the back line means the likes of Clocked In can't pull the Fire Giant. Happen lets Sunprod walk right up to, and Sunprod looking to take the 2v1. Dishonored's here. Great ultimate from Sunprod, but Tegvir comes out on top.
Hydrogen finds a kill as well. Dishonored's dead. Deicide for Clocked In. An Unforgettable Dance just cannot come out on top. Clocked In make their way towards the Fire Giant, and that's going to be for free, baby. Free 99. That is a great place for Clocked In to be as we're sitting at this 20-minute mark. Deicide, Fire Giant, and a dagger in pocket for what looks like Karmic. That is, oh my God, this is huge.
That is a shocking play from Unforgettable Dance there. They kind of just step up despite being the man down and saying, look, we got to force this right here, right now, or we could lose a potential look here. And look, the health bars were low, sure, but Clocked In, they did a great job of just kind of grouping back up after the play was made. They got the important kills that they needed to, especially on the Pyromancer. Hydrogen with the great rotation, by the way, just knowing I need to be here first to make the impact happen. Has 3 items completed now, 89 stacks on the Devourer's Gauntlet, sitting in a great spot on this Jingwei, going to continue to carry this game. You know, similar to how we talked about Sunprod being the hyper carry late game, Hydrogen is the late game carry for this Clocked In team. Is Rongu going to get picked mid here by Paul.
Oh my goodness, they're wrong. That was the wrong place to be at the wrong time, which allows Clocked In to take this Ancient Fury with no hesitation, as Unforgettable Dance is not there. They're pushing over on solo side, maybe looking to take down this tier 2. This happens secures the Gold Fury, and Clocked In are up. Fire Giant buff in pocket. They've got a dagger on Karmic as well, and Unforgettable Dance. Nah, surely Unforgettable Dance back here at some point. They maybe grab tier 2.
I mean, look, you have double AA. There is a world you trade birds here, in all honesty. You also have Baronary on the way back in left. Only 2 hunters in left to really push and threaten this Phoenix. No, members on the right-hand side will start to back off to base here as Clocked In. They do not want their Phoenix to die. They will back off with 3 members to defend the right-hand side bird, expecting the likes of Golden, Sunprod, and Dishonor to push there. So they make the right call and defend the right-hand side.
22 minutes in, 11 kills on the board for Clocked In and 3 for Unforgettable Dance. And the goal lead is 7K in favor of Clocked In as Hydro tries to do a bit of work against Sunprod, but Sunprod dashes out, does not want a piece of that pie. It just got out of the oven. It's a tad too hot, but Clocked In grouped up by this tier 1 tower and looked to take it down very, very quickly. And that just one hit from Hydro just took that down. That's so crazy. Maybe they go for tier 2 as well. Unforgettable Dance here to defend, and Clocked In looking for a potential engage. There it is.
Yeah, Clocked In.
That's the one. They'll find it. They'll picked off. Oh my God, Open the Gates is here as well. Paul looking for an opening. Open the Gates is out, and they already took down 1. Next on the list is Rongu and Baronary, low on health, but saving his safety. Oh no, Golden's in the air. Golden's dead. Wait a minute. He couldn't make it up in the air. Golden's dead. 3 bodies down for Unforgettable Dance. The Phoenix is next, and the Titan could be as well. Only ones left to defend are Sunprod and Baronary, and this is their time to shine. Your Titan is next. Clocked In are here, and Clocked In look to make something happen. Sunprod ults in, looking to do a bit of distracting as the Titan is getting chipped away at. Paul does good damage. So does Hydro. Titan's the half health. Baronary doesn't have much left to do. Sunprod trying to maybe distract them. Does a good amount of damage to Paul, who's trying to put on the juke shoes, and they fit well. Tegvir finds a kill with Baronary at the Deicide, followed by the defeat of Unforgettable Dance, and Clocked In have locked in the game 1.
Happen says, I don't need Aspect to win on Scylla support. I'll take it all anyways. Great plays from Clocked In to come out on top. I mean, yeah, just what a phenomenal performance from Paul, Tegvir, and specifically Hydrogen, just getting the items online to get the team on top with the victory.
That's game 1, but this is a best of 3. Keep in mind, so we've got more games on the way, but we're going to take a quick break before we get there, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody. We are back with the Smite Prime September circuit. We're live on Smite Prime and Smite Game. This is Morty here. We've got General Jithens, Test Die in the background, keeping the lights on and making things happen. And next to me here is none other than Spirited Book. How we feeling, big dog?
Pretty good. I mean, after that one, clocked in, looked locked in. I mean, I don't know what to say. They look good. They're playing well. And more importantly, they're kind of playing in a position where they kind of shouldn't have won some of the fights that they did win. And I mean, look at this game, these builds. They kind of get a comp that they would like in not ideal circumstances. Happen didn't have Scylla aspect. It should have gone a lot worse than it did, but somehow, some way, they still managed to just make it work for themselves. And I think that's where the experience of some of these players who've been around for a hot second really comes into play. One mistake and suddenly Unforgettable Dance were kind of in an unwinnable situation.
There's a lot that happened in this game. This was a lot to unfold. There were so many steals happen, taking away Pyro with just a 2. That was wild. Golden taking away the Gold Fury with the snipes on the ultimate. That was crazy too. So many just like heated moments, and every moment felt so important. It felt hard hitting. It felt like there were chapters to this story, right? But the book is not done yet. I mean, we could call it a trilogy, right? Because it's a best of 3, but we don't know if we'll get to 3. So trilogy is a bit ambitious, right? Well, we're approaching game 2, and based on how game 1 went, what do you think mentals are like for both teams?
I imagine Unforgettable Dance are just saying, look, guys, we lost that game. It's okay. It's a best of 3. We can come back to the drawing board, change things up. And I do think they need to change things up. Sunbroad had some nice plays, some nice looks on the Mercury, but I feel like they had a much harder time of trying to make plays in that moment with that character in particular. I'd like to see Sunbroad in a much more early game capable character.
As we dive into picks and bans here, another one I have for you is, how do you think we would change some of these picks getting into game 2 here?
The picks in particular, I mean, I'd like to see some ban shifts more than anything, specifically from Unforgettable Dance. I think allowing Hydrogen to have the Jingwei might have been a bit of a question mark to me. Paul, who's been playing the Hecate for a bit now, happened on the Scylla, and sure enough, we see the Scylla take it away here from Unforgettable Dance. So clocked in, they're going to maybe have to play some different characters this game.
So even without the aspect, Happen made Scylla look that much scarier. It's so wild to see. And I like how that he was able to adapt, right? Happen changed the build up a little bit. We went from the traditional breastplate or Yogi's Rush to get Lifebinder in, and let's get a little more life steal in. Let's start hitting hard. And it was able to adapt to the situation. And what do you know? I mean, they walked away with game 1, but things might change here in game 2 as Scylla, along with a couple other gods, Ares, Yamoja, Artemis, Agni, and Jingwei are all taken down for the count. Hu Yi is still open. Susano is still open for Tegvir. Sunproud's got a lot of options as well. And Thor is going to be our first...
Sure.
Break it down for me here.
Hu Yi's open. Aladdin's open. I'm kind of surprised that Thor is the first pick. Like, I don't know. I don't know why Thor is the lock-in. My only thought is Dishonored saying, look, guys, we lost game 1. It happens. You know, it is what it is. And it could go to Sunprod as well, so it is a potential flex pick at the end of the day. Question I have is Rong Yu, who looked just absolutely incredible in the game we watched, is banning out Yamoja on their side. I thought that was going to maybe be the priority for them in this game number 2. Instead, It is the Thor lock-in. Merlin Hu Yi is the lock-in for clocked in. And Aladdin's still on the table here. Could we see Sunprod piloted? I'm not so sure. Maybe.
a lot of ifs, right? As Uller gets picked up, and this time maybe going towards Golden or Baronary. Not so sure just yet. I mean, hell, we just saw Tegvir, Uller Jungle could be going to Sunprod. Who knows? I don't know.
That's my initial thought. I think this might be a Uller Jungle, in all honesty. I think that might be what Sunprod is going to lean on, though Aladdin is locked in. Aladdin we've seen flex to multiple different roles, though. So, look, there are 3 characters on the board for Unforgettable Dance, and in theory, there is a role we should put all of them. But I'm going to be so for real, I have no idea where any of these 3 characters are going just yet.
dude. Whoa, Cupid's here too. This is a great. Okay, you know what? And that's because Aladdin has 2 dashes, right? Let's cripple him. That's honestly, I love this because that either forces beads or it takes away 2 abilities for Aladdin. Okay, bet. I'm completely cool with that. Ymir as well. But you know, I've always had this argument about Ymir going into Aladdin because what you're doing is you're giving Aladdin a ramp to run up, right? If he can't find it, and there's walls all around the map, so usually that's not an issue for Aladdin, but let's say that he's not in range to get to a wall. If you try and wall him off, Geb's back in the game. What is going on, dude? What is this, dude?
If this is a Geb support, I'm going to be really mad because I think that character is the worst support in the game. Tsukiyomi going 10th pick to clocked in for Karmic yet again is where I imagine this will be because it's going to be Hou jungle, Cupid ADC, unless it's Cupid jungle, and then I don't know what I'm talking about, clearly. Paul going to be rocking the Merlin, happen on the Ymir. I mean, the fact that Karmic gets to run this back, I'm honestly surprised. Like, Samprad played well on the Tsukiyomi in the game we saw him play, so I'm surprised that's not the priority. Maybe it's about taking away this Ullr from Tegvir. Maybe it's about, you know, making sure they also don't get Aladdin. We don't want them to have Thor. So let's prioritize these characters and we'll stick them where we want after we figure, you know, get our whole draft together and we'll figure the hard stuff out after, you know?
It's Apollo support, Geb jungle. That's what it is. It's the aspect of calamity. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're spitballing crazy here. Yeah, I don't know where these gods are going right now. Hu Yi, Cupid,
it could be Apollo.
Here.
It could be Apollo support. That's not inaccurate. The thought process I have is maybe it's Ullr, ADC, Apollo support. I don't know. We're gonna find out soon, hopefully.
Yeah, let's just get into this game. But let's see, you know, officially where they're gonna be at instead of playing this. Oh, you're joking me.
I wasn't inaccurate. It is Ullr ADC, Apollo support, but it's Geb mid and Mort. I love you, man. This is my first time casting on Smite Game. I've had a great time so far. This is game number 2 of what could be our final game of casting together today. If you ask me to analyze what Geb's mid brings to the table here, I might never come back. I'm not gonna lie. This is just I don't even know.
Nah, I got you. I'm the Geb main here. Think about it. He's got the passive to make him naturally tanky, right? And then he's got the aspect to make him a little more damage dealing in fights. Hard as a rock. Look at that. Hard as a rock. No other god has this. He can't take more than 20% of his max health. So he can't get chunked away regardless of how squishy he is, prod or health-wise. He cannot get blown out. It's impossible. Look at that. He takes less damage from Hydro, who's going to be a big player on their team. He can't get critted away because of the passive. He does a lot of damage. Dude, just watch it unfold. It's going to shock you. Shockwave. Get it?
Yeah. There's a problem, though. I was reading that passive. Merlin's a dot character, if you weren't aware. A lot of his abilities are dots, so surely the passive just doesn't work that way. Yeah.
Right. If you want to argue on the Smite Prime, then we can argue. You want to start something? Look, let's start something, okay?
Look, at the end of the day, Unforgettable Dance, they have a Geb mid, but the rest of their comp looks really good. I mean, Ullr Apollo should have pressure after they deal with the early game power of Ymir. They should start to kind of get pressure back in their side. The Aladdin is going to be a scaler, though Tegvir is just going to run down the Geb mid right now. Bayro is going to die here.
Bayro, stop making my favorite pick look bad. He's forced to use Blink to get away. He got Blink in this game. What is going?
Well, you're not going to go. You're not going to go Geb mid and not go Blink more. Clearly, you are just not a knower of this technology that Bayro is cooking up here. Yeah, that's tough though. He got forced off his red buff. I think Sunpros just said, "Nah, you're on your own on the right side." He's level 4 already. How is Sunprod level 4 a minute and 40 seconds in?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Happen chasing down Orangu, does hit this 2, trying to slow him down, but they can't chase him down. Golden left by himself in the process. Frost Breath does stun him. Heart Bomb does a stun as well. Golden sit at about 100 health, and he was not able to find the kill, though. Orangu back and does decent damage. But yeah, just a little bit of slap boxing here.
Yeah, Golden holding on to those beads. I'm kind of surprised he ended up just not using those in that moment. Now gonna heal back up with the help of the health pots, but gonna have to play kind of safe here in this lane. Though Sunprod level 4 and on the way to this left-hand side. No, gonna hit level 5 at 2.5 minutes. And now he's on his way to the left-hand side because, of course, why would Sunprod not gank left-hand side? He's level 5 Aladdin. You guys are level 3.
There he goes. Let's see what he does. He dashes in, does decent damage. Happen is getting zoned out and dashes down here. Beads is forced from Hydro as the lamp comes out, but gets beads away. A lot of resources taken away from Sunprod right there, but the beads is out. Relic is down for Hydro. Something tells me that Sunprod will be back very soon.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised he doesn't commit with the power wish there to just, force the beads with the ultimate and then just immediately ult again. But I think Sunprod going to try and get a little more value out of that ultimate than, say, First Blood in this game. But I don't know. I think it's going to depend on where Sunprod really looks to play. Left-hand side, though, look at this. Hydrogen behind the tower, chasing out Golden.
How did he get there? What is going to happen from there? Golden super low on health. Unforgettable Dance not looking too great here. Heart Bomb looks to stun Rongu. When that it does, Slow follows up from Happen. Rongu's in a bad situation, my friend. Happen does decent damage. Fourth Breast looking for the stun. And Sunprod's able to find a kill, though. Happen takes out Rongu in the process. Heart Bomb does good damage as well. Golden finds Hydro. 2 bodies down on each side. And the only one left standing is Sunprod, who inevitably is just going to farm away the left side.
Well done to Sunprod. Gets first blood and makes sure that they kill both duo laners. So huge for the Aladdin. Already level 6. Tegvir catching up a little bit, though. Has level 5 online for the Hou Yi. Going to continue to farm out. Likely going to go towards the crit build that we saw earlier from a Hou Yi jungle from NMR. Rongu level 3, though, on the support. Going to struggle a bit for a while on the Apollo. And we haven't really talked about what the Apollo is supposed to kind of do in support. The aspect makes him decent and viable there. A little tankier, though. Right-hand side, the red buff getting invaded again. Poor Barrow just cannot catch a break over there.
Dude, you pick Geb against Paul on the Merlin. This is what's going to happen. You're going to need either extreme camping from Sunprod or you kiss your buffs goodbye because Paul does not care. Shards of Ice does decent damage to Rongu. Heart Bomb does find a stun. Rongu's very low on health. Happen looks to dive in for it, but he doesn't want to tank that tower. He's not too tanky just yet, so we back things up on duo side and we wait for maybe a better opportunity.
Going back to what we were talking about, this okay, Golden jumps up and down, just trying to bait it out some dash because Sunprod is on the way here.
Where is he going to go, though? Over the wall, Sunprod dashes in, does decent damage, able to find Hydro, and the lamp connects, taking Happen for a ride, and here we are, all by his lonely, and here come the reinforcements. Happen is dead, double kill for Sunprod, clocked in, down a couple bodies.
Sunprod has deemed it so. This dual lane will die again and again and again. This is what he tried to do in game number 1, but Hydrogen being on a much more unsafe pick makes it a whole lot easier for him to make plays on this left-hand side. And I mean,
He's
speechless, man.
secured farm, dude. Don't judge him.
Just a true display of top-level mechanics in this moment. I'm yeah, okay.
These are the best players that Smite 2 has offered.
This is finals,
you know
man.
what? I thought it was cool. I respected it. Sometimes you got to do it for the one time. You got to do it.
Yeah, but now you have
this Gold Fury gets
no
stripped
ultimate.
away.
Yeah, no ultimate or blink to contest this Gold Fury.
Wait, was he gonna? I mean, maybe. I don't know. That's a lot of hypothetical here. Let's just talk about what did happen. All right.
He's kept blink gold. He better be contesting those golds.
Hydro maybe looks to walk back up as a lot of damage comes out from Happen and Rongu low as well. Heart Bomb looking for a stun. Ice Wall couldn't quite find the block off. The Heart Bomb did not stun, so Rongu looks to be okay. And Sunprod not here. Sunprod's over on right side as Thor ults in, and maybe Aladdin finds a kill on right side. Dashing in. What can we do here? Aladdin might find a kill. Able to take down Karmic, and that's a kill on right side.
Sunprod 4-0-1 on the Aladdin, 6 minutes and 40 seconds into the game. He is feasting in this game so far, up 2 levels over his opponent Tegvir on the Hou Yi. So, I mean, this is what you want. You want Sunprod on early game playmaker, and so far doing a fantastic job. making it happen. We'll see if he can continue to translate that to the side lanes. There's no world he's going to be ganking mid anytime soon. So the play for Sunprod is just to keep spam ganking side lanes as much as humanly possible.
You just wait. You just wait for Sunprod to show up mid, and that Cataclysm combo is going to be nasty. Don't you? How dare you even insult Barrows?
I know.
Level of play here. Dude, I'm waiting for you to be proved wrong, right? I don't think you're like wrong with what you said so far. I just can't wait for it because it's going to get nasty in here.
Look, it will happen. If Bayro can get the items, can build the full int, can just continue to secure farm despite being down 2 levels, which makes it harder. But if Bayro can get there, a Geb blink ult in, and somebody's dying. Point blank. It's just happening.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen till maybe 20, 30 minutes into the game, maybe 40 minutes, arguably. It's a long
Sunprod's
time.
already hitting. He's 4-0. He's got the damage online. He just needs the lockdown, and Barrow's got that ready. He's got a knock up with rollout now, and he's got the stun from here. And this is just maybe me being a little passionate towards my favorite god in the game here. So I could be coping just a tad bit, but like, come on, man. There's potential here.
Why is Geb your favorite god in the game?
Hard as a rock. Hard as rock. It's the name of his passive. Knock up here. There's the knock up, and Baron gets a kill. Paul is dead.
There it is.
Geb's able to find one. This is humongous for Unforgettable Dance. Gives them 6 kills on the board as they're in the lead thanks to the captain of the team, Baron and the rest of Unforgettable Dance.
It totally wasn't thanks to Sunprod, who's 4-0. Absolutely not. It was all Geb for sure. Hard as a rock in mid. No, great play from the side of Unforgettable Dance. I mean, look, this is what you need to do is catch moments where Paul is on his own in mid, stepping forward, saying, guys, it's just a Geb. What's he going to do? Kill me? This guy's going to kill me? No.
Yeah,
and then Vlad shows up, and he is dead in that moment. He's like, oh, I see now. I was baited in by a Geb mid.
Look at the vision, though. He's got Gemma focus, so that plus rollout move speed makes him faster than Mercury. I think there's a little bit of vision here that I didn't see before. And as the Cupid ults out, Fields of Love locks down Golden. He might get stunned by this heart bomb. Beads is forced out, though. Rangu dashes forward. Look at his zone out for his friend, and Golden's A-OK. But Sunprod by himself here in mid lane. He's forced to dash away, up the wall. Over the wall he goes. Paul is here, though. He's able to find a bit of lockdown, and the Beads is the lamp is forced from Sunprod just to get away from Paul.
Yeah, that was a good ult from Sunprod just to avoid being locked down by the side of Clocked In. So Clocked In have to kind of take it easy in moments like that where, Sunprod steps forward and his mid laner's not there, as we see still more scuffling around these back harpies. Sunprod getting pushed out by Tegvir. Sunprod gonna have to face. Oh, there's the blink ult!
The blink, it didn't do anything. He just walked away. Tegvir's okay. He's okay. The rollout might change things. Tegvir's diving over the wall. Rollouts here, and Baron can't quite catch up to him.
How dare he jump over that wall? Happened in a world of hurt here because Dishonored's rotated on over. Golden with that one while Gold Fury is up. This should be free for Unforgettable Dance.
And Barrow's doing a great job of zoning away as the rest of Unforgettable Dance chip away at this Gold Fury, and that's going to be their first one of the game. They're not out of this, dude. They have 5 kills over their opponents. They just got their first Gold Fury. They have 1,000 gold lead. Dude, Unforgettable Dance are in this.
They were never really out of it, though. I mean, it's all Sunprod, right? Sunprod gets off to an early lead in the left-hand side, ganks again after getting a double kill, and has continued to then translate that lead over to the rest of his lanes. Has, kind of hung around on the left side a few times here and there. Has consistently now ganked mid onto Paul and looked for 1v1s against Tegvir with Bayro in tow. And one thing to note, Bayro, we kind of joke about the Geb and how, it doesn't do a lot. It does some damage once he has items, but the shield is going to be very impactful for Sunprod's dive. Just being a little tankier when the Aladdin goes in will be huge, as there's the Cataclysm.
It keeps him safe there. He would have died otherwise. So it's a safe Cataclysm,
sure.
But that could be a bait as Sunprod's here. Maybe looking to take advantage of someone if they can find a way in, but Sunprod can't quite find an engage so far. Baron using the rollout. We're looking for an in here. Ice Wall stops Baron from going in, but they don't want to dive tower just yet. So Sunprod's going to go steal some farm on the left side.
A lot of credit to Dishonored as well. He was a big part of why that Gold Fury play happened, as Golden looking for the 1v1, can't find the axe, but look who's around the backhand side. Sunprod is here.
Feels of Love forced out. Does take a lot of damage, though. Sunprod almost died to that tower, but Golden's going to make sure that he's A-okay. Apollo just a tad too late to the party, but it's all right. You can bring the snacks for afterwards, right? Pyro is getting taken down by Clocked In the process, though. So they did give up a little bit of objective, and Clocked In take advantage to get themselves closer to the gold deficit that they're in.
Sonar just going to be pushing out on this right-hand side while the likes of Clocked In take down the Nagas. And look at this. Unforgettable Dance still continuing to push on this left-hand side. Karmic on his way back over to the right-hand side because his tier 1's going to fall here to Dishonored. And I kind of didn't get to talk about it because there was just more fighting. But Dishonored, he was a big part of why that gold happened. He rotates on over early there to get there in time as Tegvir gets his beats force with a great beats of his own, taking the 1v1.
Sunbreaker's out, does decent damage to Sunprod, and the knockup's going to take him down. Tegvir just deuced up Sunprod and gave him his first death of the game. Baroneri, I guess that rollout doesn't make you so fast now, does it? Meanwhile, on the left side, Hydro, Fields of Love, does take down Golden. That's 2 bodies down for Unforgettable Dance, and Clocked In are feeling good.
Clocked In, they said that we've had enough of this Geb mid. We're taking this game back in our control. 2 important kills, and Tegvir, what a great play. Good beads to avoid the ultimate. Just stand there and fight in the jungle. That's where Huyi is at his strongest in these little 1v1 skirmishes, as Barrow will continue to farm up this mid lane, but they're suddenly not in the worst position. Paul has 3 items completed on the Merlin. Hydrogen has the 2 items, but still working towards what should be maybe Frenzy? No. This is... I actually don't know what he's building into next. I'm not going to lie.
Tess, can we check wishes on Sunprod? Is that a thing? I actually don't know. I do spectating for Smite Prime all the time, and I have no idea what the answer to that is.
I don't think we can because it's technically an active item.
Right. Yeah. I figured it was worth a shot. Oh, that's a no. Sorry, Tess. I hate to bring you off. I don't know. I mean, I could have swore I heard a wish of power right there is why. I didn't hear for sure, but I thought so. And I was wondering if there was a way to double check that. But I think it's a wish of power down from Sunprod.
I believe so. I also believe he used Wealth Wish pretty early on as well. And that's why he had such a big lead over Tegvir in terms of his item spikes. I mean, look, he's sitting on 3 completed items now. And those aren't cheap items. Heartseeker, pretty expensive in the build. So... Right. I imagine the Wealth Wish was used pretty early on, and that's where you want to use it and try and look at this play. Wrong you on the way with the help of Baroneri.
Geb's in pocket. We're going to land down and maybe look for a stun. Shockwave does massive damage, and Rollout's going to take him down. Baroneri's on fire with this Geb pick. Unforgettable Dance locked in here. 5 kills over their opponents at the 15-minute mark, and they are down just a tad bit of gold, but they make their way towards this tier 1 tower. Wait a minute. That's a great stun from Ymir. Locking down the leftovers of Unforgettable Dance. Tegvir looking for some massive damage. Rongyu dashes out. Unforgettable Dance do not want to take this fight, but Baroneri's on the front line, just bringing it to Tegvir as they waltz forward and look to find some members of Clocked In. Dishonored's up there doing decent damage. Happen is in trouble, and Happen might not be able to make the escape happen. Karmic chasing down Baroneri in the backside, though. Karmic does decent damage with the Sanguine Lash. Baroneri is getting chased away. Solo on health. Look at Karmic go in the back line, taking advantage of everyone that's over there. Ice Ball here does lock down Sunprod, and the speed buff will make sure that he gets away in time, but Golden is not so fortunate. Golden getting taken down, Dishonored by himself. Paul almost found him, and the Gold Fury is next. Sunprod's around the corner. Gold Fury sitting at about 2,000 health. It's getting away so fast, though, but Hydro is able to secure it. Sunprod couldn't quite find the steal of the lamp around the corner, but the lamp did not connect. Sunprod is in trouble. Hydro might dash forward, and the ice walls here from Happen to stun Sunprod, and he is dead. So many lives of Unforgettable Dance lost, and a Gold Fury on top of all that. Clocked In have locked in this game too.
Man, where did it all go wrong? They get a perfect pick. They get Hydrogen. They didn't even have to use Cataclysm to get it. And then Golden continues to push down on the left-hand side, and Unforgettable Dance, they take a 4v4 fight. And when your Ullr ADC, who's in a really good spot, has, I think they had 2.5 items at that stage completed during that fight, and they're split pushing instead of helping the rest of the team, suddenly the fight just isn't as easy for Unforgettable Dance. They still have a Geb who's full damage. It's not the best, as Fire Giant is being pulled here, but the rest of the members of Unforgettable Dance are here to respond.
Dishonored and Ronaghu in the air, looking for a way to interrupt this Fire Giant take. It's sitting at about 5,000 health, but looks like it's been dropped. Apollo's on a mission. Wait a minute, they're going to go for that left bird. This could be a burn on that bird while they go for the Fire Giant. This might be just a distraction from Unforgettable Dance, as Golden and Ronaghu are here. Down goes the bird. It is dead and clocked in. All 5 members are still here. Nobody's went back just yet. Did we try and base race to end game? No, they're just going to back things up as Ronaghu's there by himself. Uller backs things away and clocked in with the Fire Giant buffs in pocket, and the dagger in the hands of Tegvir waltz their way up middle.
Golden being in left lane was exactly why Unforgettable Dance had to make that play happen. It was a smart play from Ronaghu to send himself over to the left-hand side to help make sure that they could at least get some map pressure here. But look at this, clocked in, pushing down onto the mid bird.
5 members with Fire Giant buffs in pocket look to march their way towards that Phoenix and melt it down in quick time, and that they do. Down goes the bird, but there are still some side towers up. There's a tier 1 and a tier 2 on the left side. They don't feel as confident towards taking down that Titan with the current existing conditions, so they're going to back things up, spend some of that gold as Barrow looks to maybe take down Karmic, but the damage from Karmic is too much for Barrow to handle. Dishonored dashes in, hits the stun, beats forced out from Karmic. Golden still on the chase, and Thor's in the air, looking to make sure that Karmic does not get out of this one. Lands back down, hits the stun, and hits the final bit of damage. Ronaghu finds the kill, and one body down on each side.
Karmic was under half and somehow got above halfway towards the end of that fight, but still ends up falling there. Big pick there for Unforgettable Dance. They get something on the way out. Do want to note, though, all things considered, Unforgettable Dance, despite being down 6,000 gold, from a map perspective, they're not in the worst state. They still have a tier 1 and tier 2 in left-hand side, and they have the left-hand side bird down for clocked in. So they will have left side map pressure. So when next Fire Giant spawns, they will have the advantage in terms of playing the long fight, just waiting for the minion pressure to push down onto the Titan. Now, granted, there's a tier 1 and a tier 2 up in mid, so the Titan probably won't take a lot of poke in general from minions pushing, so there isn't a whole lot of threat. But as the game goes on, Unforgettable Dance, they're still just, they're in it. They're not out of it at all.
No, by any means, no, because look at how they're positioning right now. They're walking forward because they want to catch out Hydro, who just used the beads to get out of Sunprod's lamp. That was a huge beads, too. Sunprod has only been able to hit 1 lamp so far, and it's been impactful, but, I mean, we need to see some more of these lamps connect to really dominate team fights. Meanwhile, now they're on the escape because Clocked In have grouped up and decided to walk towards the rest of Unforgettable Dance. They've still got Fire Giant buffs in pocket.
Yeah, for sure. And this is kind of what Unforgettable Dance have to do. They kind of have to give space, as Sunprod could get caught here. Has his dashes forced.
Huyi jumps in, Sunbreaker's out, almost walled off Sunprod, but here comes Karmic. He's looking to take advantage of Sunprod, but the Stone Shield saved his life. The Stone Shield saved his life. Golden turns things around, takes down Karmic. 1 body down for Clocked In so far, but they still have Fire Giant buffs in pocket. Uller's going to have to dash out of this. Golden couldn't quite handle that damage. Baronary's on the chase, looking to chase down Tegvir, who does get stunned. He gets stunned, and Dishonored finds the kill. Wait a minute, Unforgettable Dance are turning this whole thing around. Apollo and Baronary are in the air, looking to chase down Clocked In. 3 bodies left on the left side, and here comes Apollo. Here comes Baronary. The Fields of Love is out, and goes Barrow in the blink of an eye. The Fields of Love stun takes him down in quick time. Ronaghu with no mana left and no health either. Down he goes, but Thor just a tad too late to the party. Slams down in quick time. Shard the Vice out. The Aladdin lamp hits, and all by his lonely. Dishonored takes down Paul, and Sunprod by himself in the lamp is killed. Is taken down. Waiting on the outside is Golden and Dishonored by himself, fighting this lonely fight. Hydro is out. Hydro takes a lot of damage, and Golden jumps in looking for the final touch of death. The heart bomb almost found the sun, but couldn't quite find it in time. Golden takes down Hydro. Hydro's dead as well, and it is nothing but a lonely Dishonored waiting by himself to defend what's left of the Titan room.
It's a bloodbath in the left-hand side. Paul and is just able to stay alive for so long, just flickers out of Dishonored's ultimate just in the nick of time to keep himself up a little bit longer, but still somehow, someway, Unforgettable Dance, despite the Geb mid, they're continuing to fight back. I don't necessarily like Ronaghu sending Baronary right to the backline on top of a Cupid who still has ultimate, had no beads, sure, but just hard to get damage off in a Cupid ultimate. So maybe next time, let's dive the Merlin instead. But anyways, I think Unforgettable Dance, they're still in it. Now their mid bird is going to be back up here. Fire Giant's due to respond. Gold Fury is still available if they want to look towards that. And I mean, look, they're still in it. They have potential to just fight back in it. Look at the relics down. Tegvir, no beads for 40 seconds. Paul, no beads for 56 seconds. If Sunprod can get a good ultimate in this next 50 seconds, specifically onto Paul, that's a lot of Clocked In's damage out of the team fight right away. Unforgettable Dance, can they take advantage of it?
The game is still up for decision. We're at 22 minutes. There's a 6K gold lead on the side of Clocked In, but they're down 1 kill, but up 1 Gold Fury token. This is still anyone's game. Fire Giant buffs no longer up for Clocked In, but the Fire Giant itself is up for taking. Clocked In opt in for the Pyro instead. Rongu places up looking for Paul, maybe so, but Happen secures that Pyro away. Unforgettable Dance can't quite find a position on top of it, so they're going to let it fall down quickly as both teams position themselves more or less around the Fire Giant because both teams know that's the next thing on the agenda.
Rongu going to the sky, and they're looking to go in aggressively here because they see Karmic on the left-hand side.
Oh, Thorold as well. Where are we going to collapse, though? Looking for a piece of Paul, but couldn't quite find the stun. Paul does decent damage, and Dishonored is getting chipped away. They take down Paul. That's their hard hitter. This could be looking good for Unforgettable Dance. Looking for the next piece. Baron Ares taken down by Hydro. Karmic's going crazy on the back line. Tegvir finds a kill as well. Golden is dead. That's 3 bodies down for Unforgettable Dance. Dishonored with just a couple hundred health to his name. Karmic slows him down, and Karmic takes him down. That is 4 dead bodies on the side of Unforgettable Dance, and Sunprod's by himself. This is now or never. Turns out it's never. The stun connects Deicide for Clocked In as they make their way to the Titan room.
Unforgettable Dance, they commit so much just to kill Paul, but it's only Paul. They have double hunters on the side of Unforgettable Dance, or on Clocked In, sorry. So they're going to push down mid here and end this game and take this week's Smite Prime victory.
Down it goes, and what looked like a dream, what looked like something phenomenal just fell apart in such quick time. Just little minute misplays, one after the other, just kind of led to the demise of Unforgettable Dance, and it was an unforgettable ride. Let me tell you, that was a game of all games. There were so many fun plays, so many fun things to talk about. That was an invigorating game of Smite 2. And thank you all for joining us. We will be right back with a quick break, and we'll break down everything that we just saw. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. After a heated finals of Week 3, we are here to break down what we just saw. This is Morty here. We've got Jithin's Test Eye behind the scenes, and Book with me here as well. And Book, what in the world did we just see?
We saw Gab mid, and honestly, I was impressed for a moment. Just a moment, but only a moment. I'm gonna be so for real. Look, it's Clocked In. They showed up big, and they come out on top with fantastic team comps. Karmic rocking the Tsukiyomi solo twice with a full lifesteal build, as well as some cooldown later on. This is how you want to play this character, is just being unkillable and also doing lots of damage onto the backliners. And it helps that it's in the solo lane in particular, because there's so much on this Clocked In comp to force the likes of the dashes, to force the Aegises, if the likes of Unforgettable Dance went for them, which by the way they didn't against Tsukiyomi. But that's okay. At the end of the day, it was a great play from Clocked In. Unforgettable Dance, it's back to the drawing board. Good signs is, though, Sunprod had a good game again.
He had a great game, honestly. I think Sunprod had a lot of moments where he showed up and showed out, made some incredible plays in duo lane to really wear down Happen and Hydro, but you know, it just didn't work out in the end due to some unforeseen circumstances and some little mistakes here and there that just couldn't, you know, kept them from getting the job done. But it was fun to watch. Nonetheless,
yeah, sure.
I think above all, this was a blast to see. And as fun as it was, I don't know about you, Book, I'm feeling a little nostalgic. I want to see how we got here. I want to take a look and reminisce of the games we watched today, right?
Yeah, we're going to take a look at the bracket here as Clocked In are your victors here of this week's Smite Prime tournament. And Yeah, I mean, Unforgettable Dance, they had, I would argue, the harder road than Clocked In until they had to face up against Smite 2 Bad Boys. But I mean, yeah, it is, Clocked In by far is just the team to beat. They are the top team here at Smite Prime. They have won now 2 weeks in a row, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And it is some tough competition out there. Unforgettable Dance, they look pretty decent, but still can't seem to take games off of Clocked In just yet. So another week of scrims, another week of practice, and hopefully Clocked In can get some competition their way.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot on the line here. I mean, if we're talking about competition, that's going to be happening next week, because next week is the closed bracket. We have worked 3 weeks here in the September circuit to get to this point, but we are finally getting here, right now. The closed bracket is next up.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see that, because this is where we'll see our top 8 teams. It's an upper bracket, a lower bracket. Super excited to see that happening next week, and we'll be here same time, same place, I'm pretty sure.
And this is what they're fighting for right here: $7,000 in cash prizing, along with 125,000 diamonds. That is enough for 10,000 of every skin in the game. Probably not. I just don't know math that well. It's a lot, though. That is a whole lot of diamonds.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we keep reiterating how much diamonds it is. I mean, there's some new skins coming out soon. You'll be able to buy the next round of awesome skins when they come out as well. So lots of diamonds going the way of the victors. Excited to see what next week has to offer, especially because that's where teams will be at their strongest.
Well, I'll tell you what next week has to offer as we get into the closed bracket. A couple new rules coming around. It's double elim. That's right. Everything we've seen so far, single elim. You lose once and you're out. Unless you're in the finals, then it's a best of 3, where if you lose twice, then you're out, just like how we saw. But next week is double elim. We will have a losers bracket. And on that losers bracket, the losers finals and the grand finals are both best of 3. So next week is a whole lot of Smite. So if you want what you saw today, but doubled, then that's where you should be. Any final thoughts before we take off your book?
Just congrats to Clocked In again for the victory here this week. Thank you guys for having me. This is my first time here on the Smite Prime cast. Just want to give a shout outs to the folks behind the scenes, Jithens, Tess, Musi and Dilo, who helped me with my reel and whatnot, and obviously you, Mort, who helped me today with the cast, and it's been great.
Well, thanks for being here for your first time, book, and hopefully it's not your last. Thank you to all of our production crew, and most importantly, thank you, viewers, for tuning in, because it has been a fun day, and we would not be here without you. That being said, we're going to sign off for today, and we'll see you all next Saturday at noon Eastern. Thanks, y'all.